Broadcasting Pod.
Even though we sometimes would not give a damn, we were happy with the every day would bring. And there's no days good. Come back once more. Why did those days ever have to go? I wish those days good. Come back once more. Why did those days ever have to go? 'Cause I love them so. Well, the sad is telling, aren't you paying doctor with that nerve? Just don't tell him I give you anything you want in this whole wide world. Smoking cigarettes, writing something nasty on the wall. Nasty boy. He just sends it to the principal's office from down the hall. Nasty boy. You grow up and learn that kind of thing ain't right. But while you are doing it, it's so satisfying. There's those days good. Come back once more. Why did those days ever have to go? I wish those days good. Come back once more. Why did those days ever have to go? Don't be surprised. I'm just a man who needs someone and someone to hide. Keep me alive. Wild West, Jim West, Desperado, Rough Rider. No, you don't want nada. None of this. Six gunning this, brother running this. Buffalo Soldier, look, it's like I told you.
Macho Man, DJs in the club, slam the jam. I come in with the heat, just like the hot. When they drop this beat, it's going up the spot.
Swallow your pride, don't let your lip react. You don't wanna see my hand where my hip be at. With Artemis, from the start of this, running the game. James West, taming the West, so remember the name. Now who you wanna call? Now who you wanna call? If you ever been with either one of us, break out before you get bum rush. Done your best to bring the water to your eyes. Thinking it might stop her from whipping your behind. The Wild West, the Wild West, you know it's me. The Wild West, the Wild West, the Wild West. What's the fucking time with the Wild West? The Wild West. Days good. Come back once more. Why did those days ever have to go? Days good. Come back once more. Why did those days ever have to go? 'Cause I love it so. Try to bring down me, the champion. When your class goes and then get it done. Understand me, son. I'm the slickest there is. I'm the biggest there is. Can I say I'm the slickest there is? Bird Parade. When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band. He said, son, when you grow up, would you be the savior of the broken, the beaten and the down?
DJ Cumberbund.
He said, will you defeat them, your demons, and all the non-believers, the plans that they had made? Because one day I'll leave you
my show, ding dong.
Hello! It is Wednesday, April 24th, 2024. I'm Left-Hand Stu. Welcome to the stream. We got a good show for you today. Hey, it's Discount. Yes, I'm back. We're back. My weeks of hell are over. I have survived the press gallery dinner, budget day, 3 weeks of pre-budget day. Hey, Chimera. And the Canadian Strong and Free conference, all in, I think that was in a span of like 2 weeks last week. And then I was going to stream on Saturday, and then it hit about 4:30, and I was falling asleep, and I'm like, I'm exhausted. So I took a personal day on Saturday. But we got a good show for you today. We've got Luke LeBrun joining the show in about 20 minutes or so. He's just heading over to his office. Just sending him a quick message. But he will be coming on the program to discuss the Mr. Pierre Poilievre, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre's impromptu visit to a protest site on the Nova Scotia New Brunswick border? Yes, Nova Scotia New Brunswick border. He was in PEI, and then I guess he had an event in PEI. In where was his event? Yes, he had an event in Borden Carleton in PEI, and then had another event. Well, he had several events in Borden Carleton yesterday, and then was in PEI today. So he, I guess, was on his way there, and he stopped by the protest group just because they're right there on the border of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, right by the Nova Scotia sign. So Mr. Pierre Poilievre decided to stop by, and knowing these protesters, they filmed the whole thing. So we had a nice, interesting little video from Pierre. Oh no, that's not gonna work. Might have to change the size of this. There we go. That's a better aspect ratio. How's my volume? Is it too loud?
Come here. I'll hug you because you're a bit cold.
Where is it? God, how do I do this? Hello, hello, oh, a little loud. Hello, 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 hello. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
I'll hug you because you're a bit cold.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Oh, wait. Where is it? Okay, there we go. All right. I think that's a better volume.
Come here.
Who visited Colombia? It's a very interesting fit because he's going 2 jackets. Everyone's happy with what you're doing, Mr. Poilievre says. So this is the video. He got a little tour of inside one of the camper vans they're all living in. A lot of people's attention being drawn to the Diagolon flag on the sign there, which are not exactly fans of Poilievre as we've seen previously. Oh wait, what have I done? So this is the guy he was talking to with the T-shirt, a man named Tommy Everett. They've been sort of at these protests on the border since like 2021.
Weekly, every Sunday, usually. Sometimes, some days we did have it on Saturday.
We'll restart this.
My name's Tommy Everett. We started a Facebook group called Support to Open the NSNB Border. We have a little over 5,000 members now. We've been protesting weekly every Sunday, usually. Sometimes, some days we did have it on Saturday, despite being served 2 injunctions by the Supreme Court of Nova Scotia. My name's Tommy Everett. We started a Facebook group called Support to Open the NSNB Border. We have a little over 5,000 members now. We've been protesting weekly every Sunday, usually. Sometimes, some days we did have it on Saturday, despite being served 2 injunctions by the Supreme Court of Nova Scotia. My name's Tommy Everett. We started a Facebook group called Support to Open the NSNB Border. We have a little over 5,000 members now.
1 second, I'm just typing up a tweet. Let people know we're live.
Protesting,
Chris Brown versus Quavo.
Sunday,
What's the Canadian government's position on it?
we did
I don't know,
have
but
on
we need to
Saturday,
get.
despite being served 2 injunctions by the Supreme Court of Nova Scotia. My name's.
Need to get Die Workwear's comment on Polyev's fit and whether or not the double jacket look is a good one. Never mind. Here, 1 second. We're gonna start this voice call. Can we get Luke LeBrun on?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can't see you though.
Yeah, 1 second. You're coming through the audio is coming through the wrong spot too. There we go. Okay, so we can hear you. Oh. There you go. 1 second. Here, let me get all this because there's. Oh, can you see me now?
I can see you.
I can't see you.
Oh, turn on camera. That would probably.
There we
explain
go. All right, 1 second. I need to switch up this this title now. Oh god, I should have had all of this set up, but then I had to like reconnect all of my streaming stuff because OBS had to like update right as I turned it on, of course. And then so we're good. We're just moving a little bit behind right now. Where is it? There it is. Twitch breaking news. Properties. There it is. Let's see if that works as a title. And we've got, where's the bumper? God damn it. All right, 1 second. I don't know. This is the most professional news stream we got going. There we go. That'll work. Okay, and now they've got that set up. Now, why is that like that?
I'll just hang out here and
Yes,
open
sorry.
up Solitaire on my computer. Just let me know.
Sorry about that.
I actually don't have Solitaire on my computer. It'd be good if I did though.
No worries.
So do you play video games on this Twitch stream sometimes?
Sometimes I do. Yes.
Yeah.
We don't get as many
What
people
kinda-
watching on that one.
What kind of games do you like to play?
I like
Stuart?
my map games. So like anything with your civs.
Yeah.
And any of those city buildings. So Frostpunk's really fun. If you ever played that one.
SimCity 3 specifically is like the only computer game I think I've played in like 10 years.
Okay, I think I've got that. I've got this figured out. There we go. Okay. Okay. We're starting to figure it out. There we go. Now we've got it. Okay. Should be able to see yourself. And I think we'll put you just right here. Make you a little bit smaller. But, okay. Here we go. All right. We're going to do a quick little re-intro. And to make it look like you just got here. So, I'm going to mute you. Half a second. And here we go.
It's my show, ding dong.
There we go. Hello. I'm Left Hand Stu. This is the stream. It is Wednesday, April 24th. I'm here with Luke LeBrun from Press Progress. You should be unmuted now. Yes, you are. You can speak. Hello.
Hello, Stuart. Thank you for having me on your Twitch stream again.
Thank you. The most professional news streamer on Twitch. What? Get rid of this. Why is that? Okay, there we go.
You might actually be able to say it is Canada's most watched Canadian political Twitch stream based in Ottawa.
Yes. We have to add based in Ottawa because I think technically most watched Canadian political streamers, XQC, our man from Montreal. And then we've also got Rob Rousseau out of Montreal as well. A lot of good political streamers in Montreal. So we've got you here.
In Ottawa. Based in Ottawa.
Based in Ottawa. It's a very important part. So got you here. It was a very interesting sort of news that broke, sort of like late last night as these videos were coming on the stream of Pierre Poilievre, Conservative leader, making a sort of pit stop at the Nova Scotia New Brunswick border for these protesters. So I guess just before we get into it, so who are these people that Poilievre has sort of decided to that he says that everyone is happy with what you're doing? Who are they, and what are we happy with what they're doing?
So this is a group of people who have been camping out for the last 3 weeks, most recently at the Nova Scotia, New Brunswick border. There is a visitor center right next to the Welcome to Nova Scotia sign when you cross the river from New Brunswick into Nova Scotia. Mm-hmm. And I guess they've been living or camping out in this like roundabout, which is part of the extended parking lot of the visitor information center. So yeah, they've been there for the last 3 weeks. Most recently, it's, they're doing the axe the tax, carbon tax thing. But like the guy who's on the screen right there, a guy by the name of Thomas Everett, he's basically been organizing these protests at this exact same spot going back to 2021. So like, first it was, opposing public health orders. Later on, they kind of hopped on the Freedom Convoy bandwagon. Some of these people have been, actually, there were other people who are part of this campsite who are linked to the Save the Children Convoy, which is a group that I've covered. They're currently still camped out 40 minutes east of Ottawa. So they're kind of tied in with these people, and that group, Save the Children Convoy, is kind of this mix of sovereign citizen stuff and QAnon adjacent stuff. So this Thomas Everett guy, I mean, if you look at his social media feeds, he has photos. He's posted like a notice on the front door of his house telling Ottawa, yeah, you've got it right there. Yeah. So he's posted this no trespassing notice to put the police and local bylaw and public health officers on notice that if they enter his property, they will be arrested. This is really typical of sovereign citizen type groups and, just the sort of pseudo legal. I know it's kind of an interesting, like, subculture, the pseudo legal community, is people who they'll put together these templates and kind of come up with these really convoluted interpretations of the law to basically say that they exist outside of the law. But anyways, that's kind of what you're looking at right there. But yeah, so he's one of the leaders. There are a couple of other people. I think there's maybe about somewhere between 6 to a dozen core people who are like actually camping out there, and then on evenings and weekends those numbers kind of grow. people come in from the surrounding region, that kind of a thing.
And that's sort of, I guess it's kind of very similar to, like you said, what we spoke about last time was the sort of encampment or whatever have you that's just outside of Ottawa. There's one, is it in Saskatchewan that I was just looking at? I know there's one where they're setting up sort of like it's basically their own like separate truck stop almost, where they're gonna have like places to eat and stuff, and they'll be serving food, and they have like little tents with chairs for people to hang out. So it is sort of, it seems like there's a bit of a, like they've figured out how to sort of do this for a long period of time, if not for varying levels of intensity of how many people are there and how many they can support.
Yeah, I believe too. There's even a group that's at the Quebec Ontario border along the 417 out to, like if you're driving from Ottawa to Montreal. I've heard some people say that they went out along that area, and there's people kind of doing the same thing there. I think there might be these kinds of things at a number of interprovincial borders, like along the highway.
Yes, yeah, no, there's a few of them. So you wrote about this. You had this story up like sort of fairly early this morning, right? So this you did like it. A lot of this was you going through just through the social media feeds, as was everyone else doing, because it was just the videos were being put up. But it does like, I guess I can go to sort of the explanation that was given by Poilievre's office, that they were sort of driving between two events and just saw them on the side of the road and thought that they're just going to stop. So I guess, what do you make of that? Because it does kind of seem strange that they wouldn't, because like they've been there for a while, and there's been a decent amount of reporting. So it's like, what do you make of that? That it was just sort of he just happened to stop there, and other people have been sort of reading into it as he's giving his sort of endorsement to groups like Diagolon, and I don't know if that's completely true considering his own experiences with Diagolon. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, that's I think that's a really good question. And I mean, so you've got the video on the screen. Like I won't ask you to play it right now, but basically he tells the people who like do look like they are genuinely surprised to see Pierre Poilievre there. In that video clip, he basically tells them he's driving. He had an event in PEI. We know that's actually true because we can see the photos of him there. He was driving from PEI, came down the highway. He's going to Nova Scotia, and along the way, when he drives past the "Welcome to Nova Scotia" sign, I guess he sees this, these people with the, F Trudeau flags and upside down maple leafs and, random slogans about carbon taxes and what have you. So according to Poilievre, he decided to tell his driver to pull over and basically pulled into this visitor center parking lot and, got out of his SUV and started, mingling and talking to them and giving them pep talks and things like that. So I mean, to your point, I think that is a good question. He does mention in the clip from the live stream, he does mention that he has heard of them previously. Like he tells them that he's heard about them in the news or in the media. I don't know if the audio is coming up there, but he does say that to them. So clearly he does have some prior knowledge. It's not as if he just drove by and thought he saw like an interesting roadside attraction and got out. Like he did have some awareness of them. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, his story is consistent between what he's saying in this video and what the statement you got from Sebastian Skamsky, what that said. I don't know though. Like personally, I kind of get it just seems like what would he have to gain from doing that? I guess that would be my question.
Well,
I suppose, yeah. Okay, what would be your?
I mean, my assumption would be that it because we sort of saw him do this when he brought out like sort of the coffee and donuts to the convoy protesters when they were in Ottawa, and that while there was a lot of like sound and fury over that, at the end of the day, he then went on to become leader of the Conservative Party. And if you go back to 2021, and there are people who would believe that one of the reasons why the Conservatives didn't win that election is because of that sort of almost like 7 to maybe sometimes I think it was up to like 11% of voters who said that they were going to be voting for the PPC. And if the Conservatives have been able to keep those voters on side, they may have won the election. So I don't think he may not see that there's actually this much of a downside, or that people outside of Ottawa or the bubble actually sees that much of an issue with him stopping to speak with protesters. In the reverse, like if it was like say a Liberal or NDP leader, like it was Jagmeet Singh, stopping to like meet with say like water and land defenders who are like either blockading or nearby like a train station, that would be like it from in his circles, that would be viewed as like something good for him to do, and then his detractors are like, oh, he's like cozying up to extremists. So it's one of those things, or whether or not they view that as actually him meeting with people who are too much outside of the realm. And I've seen when I posted that response from Pierre Poilievre, you look at the quote tweets, it's not really surprising how anyone reacts, but there are a lot of people going like, well, he's just meeting with protesters, and he should meet with people just because he does it. So it's like, I don't know if they would see it as much of a like a mistake, or that they accidentally did this.
Yeah, no, I mean, I see that point. And, there's examples too where, sometimes politicians do things where they try to make it look like they're having a really spontaneous moment, a really authentic moment for social media, and then it goes viral. And, like we saw with Justin Trudeau shortly after he got elected in 2015, he was popping out of caves in Gatineau Park, or, he's photobombing people during their weddings,
covered in baby oil for some reason.
Yeah, and it just always felt a little too slick. Like, I mean, I don't think anyone's ever proved that was staged, but it always did seem a little too smooth.
Yeah.
So I could see him trying to do something like that, except I don't feel like this was done in a very smooth way. Because first of all, whatever message Poilievre has been trying to get out like over the last 2 days or so, I mean, he's probably just blown that up. So everyone's talking about his ties with extremists. I don't really see that as helpful to him right now. Maybe if he was in a leadership race, or if he was, I mean, when the Freedom Convoy first rolled in, I mean, there was this kind of push to oust Aaron O'Toole, right? So I guess I could see a clearer reason to maybe align yourself with extremists at that point. But yeah, I don't know. It just feels very sloppy to me. Like this morning, I didn't see, your typical kind of conservative surrogates coming out with what sounded like coherent talking points. Like I didn't actually really notice anyone like even engaging with it. And it just seems like if you were going to deliberately go somewhere, associate with people who are like very clearly going to be like, as I found without too much trouble, these people are posting like within the last day or two are posting photos of like planes and talking about chemtrails and stuff like that. Like their entire social media feed is just filled with this stuff. And then, there's the photo of him coming out of the trailer, and there's the Diagolon flag. And, if you're going to do something so obviously problematic, or something that is obviously going to draw criticism to you, you would think that you might have a better response ready. And I just didn't see that with Poilievre. So I'm actually willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. And frankly, like Skamsky's response kind of actually, like, I don't think this helps him. Like, it just makes him look like he's doing things on the fly. He's got bad judgment. Like, why is he just like looking out his window of his SUV as he's driving down the highway and asking people to pull over so he can talk to these, just random kind of fringe people who are on the side of the highway camping out.
And that's one of those things where it is like, if you do make that comparison to the Trudeau shirtless running photo ops, where sort of the I guess the unconfirmed gossip was that in some cases the people he was running into may have been already confirmed friendly audience, shall we say, that he knew who he would be running into, basically. Now this one, if it is in fact, and I think it probably was a very impromptu and sort of spur of the moment thing, it may also be one of those things where by the time Poilievre is has pulled over and started interacting with this group of people. And when you note with the door that has the Diagolon flag in it, that's on the inside of the door. So it's like Polyev wouldn't have been able to see that until he's already being given the tour of the sort of trailer. So it is one of those things where it's like, it was like, oh, we've already kind of pot committed, and now we're starting to question the how wise it was to do this in the first place. So
well,
yeah.
the other thing too, I mean, as we know, like the Diagolon people, you know, they were threatening to sexually assault Polyev's wife.
Mm-hmm.
The RCMP launched an investigation into that stuff, and Polyev actually denounced them after that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, why would he, you know, then choose to associate himself with people like that? I mean, to me, it just seems like it just shows, like, I don't think this was planned out. I think he just, yeah, I just think the whole thing is kind of just really sloppy. And it's like, I think the issue is more that how irresponsible he's been just by, you know, associating himself with people who he hasn't really done anything to kind of do a background check on. Doesn't know who he's validating, doesn't know who he's platforming. And, you know, sure enough, you know, they've got all these ties with far-right extremists, and they're talking about really conspiratorial kind of kooky stuff. So, yeah.
And so, I don't know if we want to watch Trudeau's response to it, which I thought was interesting, and also you pointed out that it was funny, because you had said something before that reminded me of it. I can't remember what you'd said, but it just the way that it was covered, it was still them talking about, even when it was reported by sort of the quote unquote mainstream news, the focus was still on Alex Jones, which means there's sort of like almost a delay time in how this is being processed, because it's like, well, we're talking about this because of this new thing, but we can only talk about the previous thing that had already happened in any sort of decent discussion.
Yeah, by the time Trudeau is going to like have a line ready to talk about what Polyev did at this, you know, visitor center, you know, Polyev's probably going to end up in public like wearing a Pepe the Frog t-shirt or like doing something kind of ridiculous like that. Like he's going to do something even more extreme by the time Trudeau catches up to this.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would, if I had to put money down, I would think it will be the opposite of that, where it'll be a period of the most, like, if you thought there was some message discipline before, it'll be the most nailed down it's been in a while for at least a little bit. But yeah, so here was Trudeau's response when he was asked about it directly today.
Hi, Michelle Song with CBC News.
Michelle Song from can you hear this?
Posing with anti-carbon tax
No?
protests.
All right.
No.
Okay. I think I need to share my screen. Oh God. Okay. Shared that screen with you. Let me know if you can hear it. You hear it now?
F Trudeau flags. Yeah. In the video, Pierre Poilievre is heard saying that you are a liar and everything you say is quote bullshit. Can we get your response, please?
She said bullshit.
Every politician has to make choices about
he
what kind of leader
straightened
they
up a
want
little
to be.
bit there.
Are they a kind of leader that is going to exacerbate divisions, fears, and polarization in our country, make personal attacks, and welcome
Cutting off Mr.
the support
Fraser
of
a little bit.
conspiracy theorists and extremists? Because that's exactly what Pierre Poilievre continues to do, not just when you see him engaging with members of Diagolon, but
hyper-normalization. Prime Minister just said Diagolon.
I don't even know what your name is, bud.
And reject the endorsement of Alex
Thanks for the
Jones.
follow. Don't
Alex
see who
Jones
it is, but I will
a
check.
proven liar and conspiracy theorist who, you know, has to pay hundreds of millions of dollars because he lied about the Sandy Hook killing that killed
Tool using mammal.
little
Thank you for the
kids.
follow.
This is the kind of man who's saying Pierre Poilievre has the right ideas to bring the country towards the right, towards conspiracy theories, towards extremism, towards polarization, towards the kind of lies that Alex Jones is peddling still. So the fact that Pierre Poilievre hasn't stood up to condemn that endorsement, the fact that he continues to encourage the kind of divisive approaches to Canada that I don't think Canadians want to see, really shows that he will do anything to win, anything to torque up negativity and fear. And it only emphasizes that he has nothing to say to actually solve the problems that he's busy amplifying.
En français?
Oh, Canada.
En français.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, the thing that stands out to me is it almost feels like he had a talking points ready like last night to talk about Alex Jones, and then this, you know, this whole incident at the border in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia just kind of popped up, and he, you know, didn't really have anything ready for it, so he just kind of went to the Alex Jones talking points. But yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, at the end of the day, it does kind of reinforce that narrative, right? That you know, Poilievre is. You know, like I've heard this before when you have the stories where a politician is photographed with someone who's an extremist or someone who's problematic for whatever reason, you know, people will start saying like, oh, can you hold it against them because politicians are expected to take photos with lots of people. They can't possibly know who all these people are. But, you know, in Poilievre's case, like with the Alex Jones thing, I mean, obviously he has no control over what Alex Jones says, but he does have the ability to disavow him and make it clear to everyone that he's not accepting his support and that, you know, no one should take him seriously. But instead, by remaining silent, it just kind of validates and enables, just the kind of nonsense that Alex Jones is talking about, especially when Alex Jones is actually holding up Poilievre to his audience as like this, you know, he's basically holding him up to say that everything that Poilievre is saying is exactly the same thing that Alex Jones is saying, and so he's sort of using it to validate himself. So in that case, you know, I do think that Poilievre has a responsibility to make it clear that he's not endorsing him, he's not validating what he's saying, but obviously Poilievre is remaining silent on it, so that's kind of what the issue is.
Yeah.
Well,
to be fair, I must be fair. I will read the response that I got about in regards to the Alex Jones thing. So this is from Poilievre's spokesperson Sebastian Skamsky. As we have previously said, we do not follow the individual you mentioned or listen to what he has to say. Common sense conservatives are listening to priorities of the millions of Canadians that want to axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, stop the crime. It is the endorsement of hardworking everyday Canadians that conservatives are working to earn. Unlike Justin Trudeau, we are not paying attention to what some American is saying. So, not exactly silent, but sort of the overarching sort of strategy and response that I've seen from the Poilievre and sort of the spokespeople and the sort of intelligentsia and the commentators and pundits and all that is Alex Jones who? Which I don't know if that, because it's been compared to the strategy that the Liberals have seemed to sort of have abandoned as of late, which was trying to say that Poilievre is doing MAGA-style politics and he's going to bring Trump-style politics up to Canada, and and a lot of people said that they stopped doing that because it wasn't working, and there's that could be true. There's also the aspect of, I think some people spoke to them, was like, hey, he might win. This may blow up in your face. You may not want to push so heavy on the Trump is evil sort of thing. You might have to work with him one way or another. So I think they may have given up on that for that. So it does kind of seem like the Alex Jones things was a bit of a gift to them to sort of pivot to doing that comparison. But I don't know if the whole nobody in Canada knows who Alex Jones thing is. I don't know if that holds water. What do you make of that strategy?
I mean, first of all, what are they basing that statement on? Secondly, I mean, I tweeted this the other day. Like, there's a survey that shows like 70% of Americans have some awareness about, actually was specifically about the Sandy Hook trial. 70% of Americans had heard about it. So you can infer from that that probably a good number of Canadians also have heard of him and heard of that trial. But, also who cares? He has a very, ultimately small, but very devout kind of audience, and people who in some cases might be a little unstable or might be, very open to suggestion and easily misled. And so, I do think that if you're a right-wing politician in a position of influence, like you do have a responsibility there. So even if the number of people even if 100% of Canadians, even if 90% of Canadians don't know who he is or whatever, you still have, there's still a good number of people who take him seriously.
Yeah, and Tool Using Mammal just made a good comment, because I don't think any of them would argue that people don't know who Joe Rogan is. And if it's like, if you know who Joe Rogan is in any sort of capacity, there's a very good chance you've heard of Alex Jones. Especially probably because he's been on so many episodes of the Rogan podcast. And that's where half of the clips of people seeing Alex Jones saying some insane crap comes from. So yeah, he does sell I think I don't know if they're pills, like there's some sort of supplement or like
vitamins or something. Yeah,
they're like prepper, like it's like some mix between like a meal supplement and like doomsday prep. Yeah, some combination of those things. And he's also just, whatever it is, it's making him very, very red.
I think he was selling like doomsday prepper gear also at one point.
Yeah.
Actually, the interesting thing about Alex Jones, I don't know if you know about his history, but he actually he was kind of like a creature from the Austin, Texas subculture scene, and was kind of known as this sort of he was basically doing kind of performance art at one point, like back in the 90s. He's actually in a couple of movies by Richard Linklater, like he's in Waking Life, and I think he's in oh god, what's the other one called? Anyways, yeah, he's in like 2 Richard Linklater movies, and he I think that he's Alex Jones is a case, I think, where the guy kind of like became the character that he was, like extreme method acting.
Like who's the one, the Andrew Dice Clay I'm thinking of, where it's like Andrew Dice Clay isn't actually like that, but now he is Andrew, he is the character that he just, right. You play that character for so long that it just becomes ingrained in who you are. You never stop doing the because I've seen a couple of clips where he was doing like, I guess like some straight sort of like TV news reporting, I think a couple of times. So,
like didn't he start up on like a community access TV station or something?
And I think he was trying to do some like sort of because didn't he also do like the thing where he snuck onto Bohemian Grove? Do you recall that?
I mean, probably, yeah. I remember he was in Ottawa in Canada when the Bilderberg there was like a Bilderberg meeting in at this hotel in Canada. He came to town for that.
It's not coming up immediately, but yeah. So
yeah,
I don't know. There's because it is sort of like, because when I saw these videos yesterday, I was like, oh, these are clearly AI. There's no way this is happening. There's no way he's in that trailer getting a tour. They've digitally but clear enough it was. So I mean, I don't want to just keep rehashing it, but it feels like like, do you think this is something that could sort of blow up in his face? Because like we've sort of discussed, these aren't like they seem sort of like it's an alliance of people who may not actually be allies. That they're more just, they both really, really dislike Trudeau. Do you, like, is this like, is he playing with fire here, you think? Because like you said, he just doesn't really know who he's interacting with and sort of giving the nod to?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting too. Like if you really watch his body language and kind of like watch the video closely, like he does look quite awkward around them. almost like he's not really quite sure what to make of them, and you just sort of feel like he's a bit out of his element. But he also wants to show that he's sort of like one of the people, kind of thing. So that was something that stood out to me when I was watching the video. Yeah, I don't know. Like I think the danger, obviously, when I mean, so you can talk about how the people on the far right are interpreting this, and then how people who are maybe more moderate voters, so to speak, how they might react to it. And I think that the danger for Polyev is that those moderate voters will, the people who might switch between being liberals and conservatives and that kind of a thing. The more this kind of thing happens, the more the narrative will entrench that Polyev actually is like as you were saying, the liberals tried to tie him to Trump, which I always thought was kind of ridiculous. Like I actually do think that Polyev takes a lot of inspiration from American Republican politics, but I don't think he's like a Trump Republican. He is kind of like a creature from like an American think tank or something like that. He also does seem extremely online too.
Yeah, and that's the thing where I always kind of laugh with the comparisons to like when they compare Polyev to Trump, which is like they're not the same. They're like, yeah, there's gonna be similarities because Trump is gonna be with the Republicans and they're the conservative party, and Polyev is the conservative. So there's going to be natural overlap just on base. But as far as two dudes, they couldn't be more different in how they sort of how they behave, how they speak, how they interact with the world, and like particularly I noticed it with Jamil Javani, and this may just be because he went to school in the U.S. at Yale, where I noticed that sort of just in the way he speaks, and maybe you'll call this like media training, but it has that sort of air of the way sort of American Republicans speak and hold themselves. I'm not making fun of it. It's just sort of like it's a vibe. It's a vibe that's the way the way their delivery and how they speak, sort of thing. And Polyev I feel like would be more, if you're going to compare him to sort of those like the pre-Trump Republicans in that vein, like who was the Republican who's the younger guy?
Kind of like a Tea Party. He kind of like, I would say the closest analogy I would draw is like a Tea Party era Republican, like circa 2010.
Who is the sort of younger Republican? And all I'm thinking of is that one photo where he's sitting at the workout bench with the red hat and the gray shirt, and he's
Ryan, the former vice presidential candidate. Why can't I remember his first name now?
I know it's Paul Ryan.
Yeah, Paul Ryan.
So
yeah.
I sometimes get a lot of like sort of Paul Ryan vibes in just the way that sort of Polyev does politics.
So to go off topic a little bit here, I mean, so Pierre Polyev's history, he was a teenager.
Thank you, Marina.
He was originally like when he was a teenager, he was like a member of the Young Reform Party club or whatever. Like he was actually like quoted in the media frequently as this, Young Reform Party member. Then he went to the University of Calgary, and he was, a member of the Young Reform Party club at the University of Calgary. But he really does kind of come from that kind of campus conservative culture. And, he was like in all the debate clubs, and he's just like that kind of person. And he got elected quite young. And he's just always I think that is really kind of like what Polyev is, right? I mean, that's kind of his background. And obviously from being so steeped in right-wing politics in Canada, he's obviously going to be very, very aware of what's going on in the US and what's going on in the UK and internationally and other kind of conservative political cultures. So, and he's the kind of guy too who, like, I remember I used to go to the Manning Center back in like 2014. Like he was the guy who would always be at every single Manning Center conference. And just sort of in the audience, listening very, very closely to everything that's being said. He like that's just the kind of person he is. He's just someone who's just like extremely online, just very, very deep and committed to the kind of grassroots political kind of culture. Yeah.
He's a true believer. He's been raised in the dojo.
That's right. Yeah.
He's not a transplant. You can't say that in any way. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me, because you brought up Debate Club. Have you read any of The Prince? I think it's
Machiavelli.
No, well, that's funny. So it's Stephen Marr's book. I think. Stephen Marr,
yeah,
the new one. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be about Trudeau. And I had the thought, I'm like, please don't let this be one drawn out analogy for Machiavelli's The Prince. And sure enough, every single chapter starts with a quote from The Prince. Basically, if you read between the lines, it's like, this quote is what this next chapter is gonna be about. Actually, oh god, I should pull it up, because the first, like, the one is really interesting, because it's like, it's the quote that's chosen, and it's more because I read into it to less about what it says about the chapter and more what it says about the person writing it.
You're about to read from an embargo copy of The Prince by Stephen Marr.
No, I'm not.
Oh, I wish you did.
I was gonna read the opening. I was gonna read the opening quote of. Is that book not out though?
I think it comes out later in May.
Okay, never mind. Then I won't do that. I was literally just gonna read the opening Prince quote, because I thought it was very. I mean, I think it might actually just be the opening quote for the Prince, but it is. Like, and that's me opening on my little making fun of it, but it is been very sort of, just with the first couple of chapters I've read so far. I think, like, just how like, because it starts with like Trudeau, like at college, and I think well, I mean, this, I don't think I'm blowing up the book by saying that Trudeau was also in Debate Club, and then just sort of like. The beginning almost kind of feels like the beginning of a heist movie, where you can feel he's like, I'm assembling a team, where all the names are starting to come together. But that should be a good book if you ever get a chance to read it.
I feel like someone could write a book or something about how so many of our political debates, but also sort of petty beefs, all kind of go back to stuff that happened in university politics.
Yeah. Well, what's that Bowling for Soup song? High School Never Ends.
Sure, yeah.
High school. It all just.
I mean, like, even Jason Kenney, right? Like, if you know Jason Kenney's backstory, I mean, he went to the University of San Francisco, and he, his whole political identity was kind of formed there when he got into a fight with the Catholic University. He vowed to go to the Vatican to personally appeal to them after he got, I think he got sanctioned by the school or something. But and same with like Daniel Smith. I mean, I think Daniel Smith was sort of a like young libertarian in university. Like, all these people, they're just involved in these campus conservative clubs or student politics, and yeah.
No, it's those are all because we're all very much just we don't actually change all that much from what we were in our 20s. We may get a little bit less impulsive or rash, but we hold on to, like, if you were wronged in your early 20s, that sits in the heart of your chest for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And then just everything else grows around it.
Yeah, I'm sure every single political leader has some sort of like trauma in their like early 20s in university that is just completely ridiculous. And
I'll show you. I'll show all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't want to kick this horse to death, because it's mostly just going over why they did it. But I guess just anything else on your mind you want to chat about while I have you here? Did you have any big thoughts about the budget?
Yeah. Well, I covered the capital gains tax.
That one's been interesting, the way that one's been covered. What are your thoughts on that one?
I'm not too surprised, but yeah, you're seeing, for example, a lot of, like the National Post and Globe and Mail, they're all kind of coming out with stories about how the business community is upset about it. But you never hear, this is the thing, like, we've done stories at Press Progress about like the, when Ontario raised the minimum wage back in, oh my God, I can't remember what year it was, but this was like several years ago when Kathleen Wynne was still premier. You know, you looked at we actually looked at every single story that came out afterwards and looked at who was quoted in each of the stories. It was always Canadian Federation of Independent Businesses. It was always, you know, some random small business owner who was just aggrieved about the change.
Canadian Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, some economist who's like
Taxpayers Federation.
Taxpayers Federation, Fraser Institute, and like maybe one or two article out of like a dozen or so that came out like within a week or two after the announcement had a labor economist, had any kind of, you know, like no one's quoting a minimum wage worker to ask them how their struggle is going. So this is so typical, right? You just sort of get the business lobby and all these you know, frankly, all these you know, wealthy people who have a platform and, you know, have connections, you know, they end up being the ones that get quoted in these stories and not the people who, you know, might say, for like the interesting thing about capital gains taxes. So you have like $1 in capital gains. 50 cents of that is just like automatically tax free. And then the other half of it is basically, you know, taxed at your normal marginal tax rate. So, you know, meanwhile, if you're, you know, working in Tim Hortons or at Loblaws or whatever and getting paid minimum wage, you're paying tax on the full dollar that you're earning. So it is really ridiculous. You know, people, and in some cases, you know, Canada's top CEOs, there's a number of them who don't get paid any salary whatsoever. Toby Lutka from Shopify, he gets paid $1 in like employment income in salary, and then gets the rest in stock options and other things like that. So
I'm sure that's not why he was kicking up such a big stink about it on Twitter, about how it's going to be so devastating.
I mean, they're invested in this system. I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily just because of his, you know, personal, like he personally stands to gain from it, but like they're invested in that system and the way it's structured. So obviously they're gonna, you know, feel the way that they feel about it. But you know, it is kind of, you know. So, anyways, the CEOs, the executives, you know, they've figured out that that's a more tax-friendly way to get paid is to get paid in stock options or, you know, things like that. And, you know, meanwhile, you know, if you're, you know, as I was saying, like if you work at Loblaws or you know, wherever, work retail or something like that, you know, you know, obviously your tax bill is not as big as, you know, a CEO, but you're paying probably a higher percentage of your income in tax than they would, just because they figured out I don't know if it's fair to call it a loophole, but it's definitely a double standard in the way that the tax system is set up. So yeah, that's been my thing that I've focused on when it came to the federal budget.
Oh, and the thing I forgot to ask you was just sort of do a little self-crit session for the press gallery and the mainstream media. So I did notice that it was funny that it was sort of, there were grumblings from the liberals that like, oh, the press gallery is just going to ignore this because it's too hard. They're not going to cover it. And my thing was, I'm like it was first thing this morning. I'm like, Luke probably has a story coming out within the hour. Give it a second, and I can't just keep rehashing the story he already did. But it was interesting that I noticed that it wasn't. I don't like. I said that it was your story that caused all this to happen. But the reason I think that like it was reported on was because Trudeau then commented on it. So and when you said it seemed like he had that sort of prepared comment. It did maybe, I was expecting maybe one of those things that he sometimes does where like he just, when the questions are done, he goes, well, one last thing that I want to say on my own, where he's done that a few times when he wants to take a shot at Poilievre and no one's given him the opportunity. So I guess, and then it sort of felt like, okay, now Trudeau has attacked Poilievre on it, so now it's a story. So I guess sort of what were your thoughts on how this was sort of reported on and sort of brought out the day? Because once that happened, you saw sort of the floodgates were open and everyone could report on it now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I didn't, you know, this was a live stream video that the people in the camp actually broadcast. I saw it. I wasn't even the first person to see it. People were tweeting about it last night.
Shout out me, the cookie lady, who's in the chat.
That's right. Yes. So yeah, definitely credit to Cookie Lady for finding it. But what I tried to do with my story is also to just definitely to just get on the record just that these people aren't, your ordinary working Canadians who are frustrated with the cost of living and the affordability crisis. And like that isn't why they're there. They aren't there to protest the carbon tax. They've been there for 3 years. So I thought it was important to get the facts straight about things like that, and also to show that these people, if you just look at their Facebook feeds, they're talking about chemtrails. They're talking about, actually scroll down. Do you have the?
Oh yeah, no, I have the some of the photos that were there. So that was the.
Well, obviously there's the sovereign citizen notice on his door, which is pretty concerning. But yeah, like this one right here, the Family Feud meme. I mean, that just really sums up all of the
digital ID, bug meat, Agenda 2030, 15-minute cities.
Yeah, which is interesting too, because like this carbon tax concern, if you will, amongst this group is actually connected, as you can see, with the Agenda 2030 thing, the 15-minute cities thing, the idea that you're all going to eat bugs or whatever. Like this is connected to the sort of meta conspiracy theory about the World Economic Forum and also United Nations sustainability policies and things like that. So it is interesting that, some of this, I've actually had this conversation with environmentalists who don't really get it because they are very focused on, policy. And so when they see these kinds of things, when they see someone like these people bring up carbon taxes, their first instinct is to want to debate them on the merits of the carbon tax. And I don't think that they understand that, no, like for them, this is part of this, broader, conspiracy, broader narrative. It is just like one tentacle in this larger octopus that is the World Economic Forum. So you can't really, I don't think you can really engage with people who think like that, by trying to debate with them about, carbon tax rebates or.
Yeah, they don't have an ideological disagreement with you on how best to address climate change. That's not why they're opposed to the carbon tax.
Yeah.
Like they're not tech knock taxes kind of people.
Yeah, like I think the anxiety underlying all of this is that they feel like their autonomy is going to be taken away by this, large technocratic super entity that they don't have any control over. It's this, global foreign thing, so they don't have any control over this thing whatsoever. Often, I've found if I can say something sympathetic to the conspiracy theorists. Often a lot of people who are really deep into conspiracy theories, they are people who have, they're people who don't feel like they have any control in their life. They might have had some. I've actually talked to people who were family members of people who got kind of radicalized during the pandemic by the COVID conspiracies, and it was really fascinating because I kept seeing patterns kind of reemerge. So a lot of them had some kind of like personal trauma, whether it's, a close person to them died, a divorce, some kind of health issue or whatever. In some cases there were, pre-existing mental health issues. And then obviously with the pandemic, there was issues like isolation, social isolation, and then your only window to the outside world is your computer screen. Also, there's just a complete lack of access to mental health services and, the ability to kind of talk to people that might help you in those situations. So, anyways, this is all just to say, though, that I think that for those people, the anxiety is that, they have no control over their lives and, they see the World Economic Forum. I mean, I think this is a pretty extreme example, but they point to the World Economic Forum as, like it's basically a scapegoat for how they feel about their own lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've made this joke that it's like probably the greatest fuel for like half of the World Economic Forum stuff is just things Klaus Schwab has actually said. Like he's kind of it's like he should probably stop making public comments because it's like they're like when they're talking about like eating the bugs and like you own nothing and be happy, they're not super misquoting some things that have been said. Like it's just whether or not what you think the World Economic Forum actually is and can achieve, I think is probably the biggest problem. Is you're giving them a little bit too much credit. But you know that like you do see that where it's because when we were doing when I was in Wakefield, we had there were several people. There was one fairly prominent nurse who went down and became like a protest organizer, and I've spoken to, and it's like sometimes it can be just as like during the pandemic especially could have been as something as like, I mean, I don't want to say simple, but just a job layoff, and then you're out of work for probably sometimes for the first time your whole life. And then compound that onto, it's like you almost can't go out and try and find a new job. There are no jobs, not just because there's no jobs, but it's like you're confined to your home. And when you're in those sort of places where it's like, well, I don't have any control in my life, even if you think that the people who do have control are out to get you, it's almost more comforting to think that like, well, there's a reason things are this bad. And if we can address that thing, everything will be better. So there's a level of like you can empathize with it, and you don't just see this on like on the right. Mm-hmm. It's a comfort, like it's the whole reason we created religion in the first place. It's like, well, I can't determine when the rain is gonna come and make my crops grow, but if there's someone in the sky I can pray to, that'll make me feel better. So it's sort of just that sort of filling that gap.
I mean, I think it does beg the question too of like, what is the proper political response when, you know, I do think that these kind of conspiratorial communities, if you will, are growing quite large, like larger than we've ever seen before because of the internet and because of, you know, in a post-pandemic kind of world. And, you know, a lot of these, I mean, going back to the pandemic, I mean, a lot of the anti-lockdown protests, a lot of the, I mean, even the Freedom Convoy to some extent, you know, these were kind of like in real life meetups for people that were meeting each other in Facebook groups or meeting each other. It's a gigantic
social event, the Freedom Convoy. And like they were, some of those people, I said it was like, it was adult winter summer camp. They made memories that some of them will cherish for the rest of their lives. And like, not even like, I'm not making fun of them, or like, there were probably some very like just pleasant memories a lot of them had from like the bonding, hanging out in community. They made those damn commies with their commune in downtown Ottawa.
The Save the Children convoy people are now like actually building a commune on Chet Wiggins' farm out in Castleman. And it actually is interesting because it does kind of have echoes of like sort of the hippie movement in weird ways, like back in the 60s, because there was sort of this back to the land you know, subculture where like hippies started, you know, going off grid and building communes. And so you sort of see a little bit of a shade of that, especially the ones who are in it more for the, you know, sense of community than the anti-Trudeau stuff per se. But
I mean, like I have the instinct, like my favorite ASMR are those like sort of the outdoorsman's videos where it's like just a dude and it's just the sound of fires burning and someone sharpening sticks with an axe. So it's like I super understand that impulse especially. But yeah, no, it's yeah, it was there's a level, and it's my always thought is when you say like what can governments do to address it, and I don't know if there's much they can do to address it directly, because it does seem like anything they would do where it's like, oh, we're gonna do some initiative to address misinformation. Yeah. Well, the misinformation exists because they think the information you were giving them in the first place was BS. Like they stopped trusting that in the first place. So you providing them more of that information is not going to work because it's the messenger they don't trust. So it's like it's more. I think it would probably be more like the reason it's a symptom. They're addressing a symptom rather than the actual sickness, which is a very overwhelming like alienation and dissatisfaction with society, which is probably an even more difficult thing to address.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a huge question, but, you know, I do think that democratizing society, you know, not just in terms of, you know, political rights, giving people more, you know, kind of voting right type things, but, you know, democratizing your workplace and, you know, just sort of giving people more say in their everyday life, and people not feeling like they're kind of rats in this larger system. Like I think that like things that you can do like that might actually address some of the sense of alienation maybe that is underlying it. But I mean, this is more than just a political thing. I mean, this is kind of a cultural phenomenon in some ways too, right? But yeah, and I mean, the other thing too is like mental, like I was mentioning before, like a lot of people don't have access to mental health care. They don't, it's very expensive if you need that. So, that's another, I mean, it's funny too, because, in Canada, we have free healthcare for your body, but not for your, mind. So, addressing those kinds of things would probably be helpful. But I do wish we like actually had a conversation about these things, and it just feels like we haven't, even though the pandemic is kind of receding.
Yeah, and I was sort of just thinking, and we kind of did touch on it, because it's like, it's maybe simplistic, but it might just be staring us right in the face. Look at all of these protests. Like
Polyev, because he looks like he's staring.
Yeah, no, here's the solution. It's Mr. Polyev. Well, but I'm talking about like more like when you look, even just to do a sort of a both sides thing. If you look at the protests at the college campuses as well, just as at the sort of the basic level of what they are and how these protests are forming, they're creating third spaces. They're creating spaces where you can be in community with one another, hang out. You don't have to spend any money. You don't have to have a subscription. You can just sort of be around people, and there's no expectation for you to pay for anything or do any labor, or it's just we used to have like, I don't know, like there's nice parks and public libraries and all these sort of places that people could do that. And as we've seen that sort of recede, and even faster with the pandemic, is now all of these protests are creating third spaces for themselves to do protests. I mean, that's not new, but it does seem like that could be something. If people have more places where they can be in community with each other, maybe they wouldn't be creating protest spots to do it. So I don't know. That's my thought.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, and just like having more, just people. I think a lot of people just want to have some control over their surroundings, even if it's on a really local level, even if it's their, get to run some little club that they do at night or something. And I think maybe a lot of people just don't have. Maybe the pandemic has taken away some of the things that people once gave people a sense of agency. They don't have that anymore, but yeah, no, it's a big question.
All right, I think that's a good spot to end it. Get a little philosophical. Let you go. It's 8 p.m. on a Wednesday, but thank you very much for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm always happy to be on the most watched Twitch stream about Canadian politics in Ottawa.
Yes, we're in double digits territory, so this was a very successful one. So. Thank you very much, and have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, you too. Thanks. Right. Thanks a lot. See you later.
Bye now. Alrighty, we're just gonna do some little movie magic. Screw it. We'll figure it out in post. Oh. Yeah, well, that was Luke Lebrun, editor of Press Progress, doing some good, just some good breakdowns on who these guys are, and sort of just getting into a little bit more than just because some of the report, like what I was trying to get at was some of the reporting was like, God, why did I close that? That was stupid. The thing I just closed, it has the thing I now want to talk about. God damn it. Where was it? Oh yeah, here. So this was the CP, which I thought was an interesting way to sort of frame it. So it says, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is ramping up... oh, no, you can't see it. There it is. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is ramping up his attacks on Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre as he promotes his government's federal budget. This is incredible. So it's like it does this opening. Trudeau is ramping up his attacks, which is an interesting framing since he was asked directly. And then it goes into polls suggest the liberal messaging on the budget has yet to resonate. But Trudeau says it's more of a plan than what Poilievre has put forward, other than trying to exploit public anxieties. So to put it, I thought it was a very interesting choice to put this in the framing of polling. Not gonna lie, when you said a politician visited a protest, I assumed it was to denounce pro-Palestine, pro-human rights protesters. Yeah, no, this was I haven't seen, and that was the other thing where the middle part of Poilievre's spokesperson's response was, if Justin Trudeau is concerned about extremism, he should look at parades on Canadian streets openly celebrating Hamas's slaughter of Jews on October 7th. Which, again, because we're all about fairness on that stream, Trudeau's did condemn those protests on Saturday in this tweet. There's a difference between peaceful protest and hateful intimidation. It is unconscionable to glorify the anti-Semitic violence and murder perpetrated by Hamas on October 7th. This rhetoric has no place in Canada. None. He did take some heat for that being put out a little bit late on a Sunday, but it's... I don't know. There's a part of me that goes like, I don't know if the Prime Minister needs to be as online as everybody else.
Really shows...
I don't know if that actually makes it better for him, because like somebody should have been to get it to him, but I think when you're getting down to should he have said this now or a couple of hours ago? I don't know. I don't know. I think we're splitting hairs a little bit. What was it I wanted to put on after that? Oh yeah, we were gonna game. That's what I was gonna do. Well, yeah, that was my follow up where it's like, what is Mr. Poilievre suggest more should be done to address these protests? Did not get a response on that. Alrighty. Oh yeah. Hassan went on Piers Morgan, and I heard that was a complete gong show. Nothing of value gained, which is why we're gonna watch it. There we go. No, we want Twitch. Where are we? Here we go. Also, how are you, Lightly Salted? I don't know if I said hi in the middle of the... Yeah, no, I also meant to comment on your thing about your mom being radicalized. Yeah, a lot of that was a lot of people just having bad experiences with the medical system and sort of deciding that the medical system writ large it's sort of a write-off kind of thing. How's the video? Is it like, are we jittery? No, looks like we're okay. Who is Crackhead Barney? I saw a clip of that, and I'm like, why did Piers Morgan think that was a person they should bring on? Also, I guess they finally banned TikTok in the States. Which, oh, good. So, what are they going to do when they ban TikTok and the youth aren't suddenly... like, don't suddenly stop believing what they currently believe? Because that's the problem, right? Like, they're obviously the youth are being indoctrinated by the Communist Party of China owned TikTok. So I'm just suggesting, what happens if they ban TikTok and the opinions of the youth don't radically change? What do they blame it on then? Because I have a feeling that the reason TikTok was like that was not because of the Chinese, it was because of, or the Chinese government, it was because of the youth who were making the content on TikTok. Where's the... What the hell? All right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, but we'll do a throwback to...
Yes or no question.
This is from 3 years ago. This is before I think Polyev was even leader. This was over the We charity. This is like 5 scandals ago. All right, one sec. Go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Question, Mr. Chair. Prime Minister, you twice were found guilty of breaking the Ethics Act. After those 2 convictions, did you decide to read the act?
You got 14 seconds, Prime Minister.
Yes, I have read the act a number of times.
Are you aware of Section 21?
Yes, since I've read the act, I'm aware of Section 21.
What does it say?
I can pull it up for you, but if you have it in front of you, you'll remind me.
Well, it says a public office holder, of which you are one, shall recuse himself or herself from any discussion, decision, debate, or vote in any matter in which, in respect of which he or she would be in a conflict of interest. Now, what you've admitted today is not just that you were in a conflict of interest, but that you consciously recognized in your May cabinet meeting that such a conflict might exist. That it didn't just slide by your desk, that you were consciously aware that there was an inappropriate link to your family that would put you in a conflict. Why did you, at that moment, not call the ethics commissioner and recuse yourself?
That is simply not true, Mr. Polyev. The issue of advancing issues for one's own family. And by the way, the ethics commissioner is looking into this right now, and I fully trust his judgment on determining it. But at the same time, my concern around recusing myself was a question around perceptions, because I knew full well that this Canada Summer Students Grant Program was not going to directly benefit my mother or my brother.
Your 16 seconds are up. Your 16 seconds are up. I'm going to ask you again, because nobody believes you when you say you don't know how much money your family has got from the We Group. So you've had a month to look into that. You knew you were going to testify here. Again, how much money total have your brother, mother, and spouse received from this organization? How much?
That information has been publicly shared, but I will highlight.
Well, then tell me what it is.
My mother
How much?
has
just the dollar figure.
Throughout her life.
The dollar figure, Prime Minister.
Various ways, and is proud of the work that she's done, and I'm proud of her.
How much? I'm looking for a dollar figure.
We can get that number for you if you like. It's been out in the media.
It's been in the media, but you don't know it?
I don't have it in front of me. And quite
you don't
frankly,
know how much your family has received from this organization, which you tried to give $500 million, really?
Can I answer, Mr. Polyev?
I'm waiting. You haven't done an answer so far. Let's make this the first one.
My mother has worked as an advocate.
The dollar figure, Prime Minister.
Speaker for
how much?
Many good organizations across the country.
Mr. Prime Minister, you are being asked a direct question at a parliamentary committee.
Support her because she does her own work, and I'm proud of the work that she does. Point of order. But I do not feel that it is my responsibility to peer into the work my mother is doing, because I have
point of order to suspend.
She's doing.
Point of order to suspend.
I've come to learn that the chairperson's power has gone out and is no longer part of this meeting. May I propose that we suspend?
That's a good question. Tool using the mammal. Who will be the first? Because we might be a while for the
Look, I got a message to the effect that his
who will be the first
powers
MP
I have no reason to
with some
distrust
streamer
him.
light,
I hope you don't
like
pull the
a
fire
road?
alarm now.
streamer
Yeah,
lights.
well, look, there's no intent in my own private home here in the middle of a pandemic. I don't have a fire alarm. I propose
the general process is that the
I
vice
missed when they
chair
were all online. It was so funny.
assumes the chairing of the meeting. So we'll continue.
They're all just stuck in their offices yelling at each
So
other.
we'll continue the
It was
meeting.
like
and I'll give the floor to the member for Carlton.
House of Commons was a giant Discord
Mr.
chat
Prime
for the
Minister,
longest time. It
you
was
have,
so funny.
I'm going to ask you one last time. How much did your family get from this organization? How much?
Have you read the Conflict of Interest Act, Mr.
Yes,
Polyev?
I have.
How does it define family?
I'm asking you.
How does it define
I'm asking
family?
you how much your family got.
The Conflict of Interest Act defines family as spouse and direct dependents.
Point of order. So you're not going to answer that question.
Point of order.
So you're not going to answer the question then. So you're not going to answer the question about how much your family received. Okay, you're right.
Hold it, gentlemen. If you,
for
Mr.
working with we, and it was cleared
Mr.
by
Prime
the
Minister?
Ethics Commissioner ahead of time.
Okay.
Mr. Polyev,
To miss Will Amos's legs. Yeah, a lot of people like that. Really enjoyed that little.
Look, you know, I mentioned that, Pierre. It wouldn't be the first time you tried to put my lights out, and that's exactly what happened. Pierre, we got a thunderstorm here. Anyway, where will you're well into your 5 minutes, but go with one last question.
Mr. Trudeau, I'm going to conclude by asking you. You claim that you have no knowledge of the amount that has been paid in expenses to your spouse. You correctly pointed out that the Act defines family as including a spouse. Therefore, you know you're under investigation. Regarding the Act, I'm going to ask you again, how much in total, and I'm looking for a dollar figure here, sir, how much did your spouse receive in reimbursed expenses or other benefits from this organization? How much?
Your original question, Mr. Polyev, was how much was my immediate family?
I asked you a different question now. How much?
Mr. Polyev, the Prime Minister has the floor.
My wife has never been paid since I was Prime Minister.
Reimbursed for expenses.
Mr. Polyev, could we please have order? We'll allow the Prime Minister to answer the question, and then we'll move on to Ms. Zerowitz. Sorry, Julie. Mr. Prime Minister, you have about 30 seconds.
You know, like, it was weird because you start to like naming people. Oh wait, never mind. This was committee, so this wasn't House of Commons.
Continue her advocacy and her work with We Charity and other organizations.
My mistake. Apologies.
In the kind of work.
All right, we'll watch this. I mean, we'll see if we can watch this. I don't know if I'll be able to make it through the whole thing. What am I about? What the? What is this? Who is this? Is this the Barbie person? I'm gonna guess. I'm just gonna hazard a guess that this person on the second left might be this so-called crackhead Barbie. At least it's only 40 minutes.
Well, the war in Gaza has incensed communities across the world. Many Jewish people say they don't feel safe on the streets of Western cities. Many Muslims feel the horror facing innocent Palestinians is treated only as a second-class concern. And as with any emotive cause, a lot of people with no dog in the fight have moulded this crisis into a familiar battle of good versus evil, oppressors versus oppressed. Hysterical scenes at some of America's top universities this week have generated more coverage and commentary than the war itself in the last 2 weeks. Columbia says that all in-person classes are now cancelled until the end of the semester. Arrests have been made at encampments outside NYU and Yale. Well, one notable Jewish professor at Columbia shared a video of Muslims praying as if it was a shocking assault on US values. Many badly informed pro-Palestine demonstrators
taking a shot at Shai David I there
and chanted, "We love Hamas." Others believe that synchronized dancing is a long-lost secret to peace in the Middle East. Well, these people are all spending $80,000 a year on tuition, but clearly many of them haven't found Wikipedia, and this virtue-signaling fever is now emboldening a growing number of people to confront public figures who have simply no connection to the war. This was New York Mayor Eric Adams, berated for supporting genocide as he took his seat on a flight.
Hey, Eric Adams? Yeah. you. You support the genocide in Palestine. There are homeless people all over New York.
Did you see that
They're
video
always
of,
partying.
was it
You
Alec
usually
Baldwin?
care
Just
about
like
the citizens
attacking
of
that
New
lady
York.
who like
You
had a
don't
camera on him?
afford food. You keep cutting the education budget so you can fund the police.
And this so-called performance artist has dominated timelines for days after achieving what previously seemed impossible, an outpouring of public sympathy for Alec Baldwin by doing this.
Putting innocent people in
Oh,
jail.
it was the
Alec
same
Baldwin.
person?
Free Palestine, Alec, just one time, and I'll leave you alone. I'll leave you alone. I swear.
I
just
swear.
say Free Palestine one time. One time. One time. One time, Alec. You know he's a criminal. You know he's a criminal. Come on, Alec. Just say Free Palestine one time. Israel, Zionism. Please say it.
What?
One time.
So does any of this make a difference? Are these demonstrators forcing the rich and powerful to confront and condemn
Didn't
the
he
horrors
get-
of
didn't he
war?
get
Or
exonerated?
is it a wave of self-indulgent protest, just distracting us from the deadly serious realities of
Oh,
a
has she
grim,
been doing this
ongoing
for a
war?
while?
In a moment, I'll debate all that
is,
with
bud.
Hassan Piker, Emily Austin, Esther Cracker, and James Barber. First, I'm joined by Alec Baldwin's
Kaiser
antagonist there,
Soze 99.
who calls herself Crackhead Barney. Well, welcome to Uncensored.
Is this even, can I even show this? Can I show this on stream? What is I'm not taking any chances, I'm sorry.
Hey, Pierce! I've been waiting for you, Pierce fucking Morgan! I wore my diaper today for you, Pierce. Do you like it?
Not particularly, no. Do you want to sit down?
And Pierce, can you bring me to Buckingham Palace? I would like to meet the Queen.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I'd really like to meet the Queen.
I don't think the Queen, if you mean Queen Camilla, she is probably tied up with royal engagements at the moment. If you meant the Queen who died.
Did they not do a pre-interview?
Get me fucking in, Pierce. I want it.
Okay.
Or
can
like
I take you
a
back, if I
Google
may,
search on
to
who this,
what you
who
did to
is
Alec
this?
Baldwin? Can you explain why you did it?
What did I do to Alec Baldwin? Pierce, do you see the damage
I'm not
that
taking
Alec
any.
did to me?
This is a this is a family show. This is a family show.
Pierce, look at my neck. I was maimed by a white man on Monday. You're telling me what I did?
No, you weren't maimed by Alec Baldwin on Monday, were you?
Oh, is this?
I was maimed.
No, you
My
weren't.
hand is broken.
Okay, I'm starting to piece.
No, it's
I'm
not.
starting to piece this together.
My legs don't work. Look at this. Pierce, are you another white devil? Pierce Morgan.
It's just Hassan laughing his fucking ass
Too
off.
early in the morning, Pierce. Pierce, it's too early.
Not the wig.
Your wig's come off.
It's not a wig, Pierce. It's my hair. I'm a white woman. I identify as a white woman.
Let me ask you seriously, if I may, for a moment, because you're trying to make a serious point,
Yes.
I presume, with Alec Baldwin. He was getting a coffee. You run in.
Was
and
she
call
trying
him a
to?
killer.
Was she trying to make a serious
Okay,
point?
but you decided
I was
to.
getting a coffee.
Okay,
You think she's
don't
trying
have
to make a
shout at
serious
me as
point
well.
right
We can
now?
have a civilized conversation. I want to know seriously.
I'm very civil.
I wanted to know seriously why you did what you did and what you hope to gain by it.
Pierce fucking Morgan. You're asking too
Just for the
many
record, my
questions.
name is actually just Piers
What's
Morgan.
wrong with saying Free Palestine? Pierce, can you say free Palestine for me?
I think
Pierce, can you say Free Palestine for
if
me?
you stop shouting, yeah.
I want you to say it.
Yes, I'm happy to say.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not going to shout.
If you just
Mr. Pierce Morgan,
if you just
please
keep
say
quiet,
Free
I can answer your
Palestine.
question. Yes, I'm very happy to
I'm
say
never
that.
quiet, Pierce.
Sorry, you're still talking.
I'm never quiet.
Okay, but try.
I'm never
Otherwise,
quiet.
I
about
can't-
to say
You asked me to
Shut
do
up.
something. If you don't,
He was gonna
shut up,
say
I
the
can't
thing.
Give you the answer.
Oh my God.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'll shut up for you.
I
Pierce.
absolutely believe that Palestine should be free. Yes.
Oh, okay. And how are we going to do that,
She's
Pierce?
like, oh.
Give us the answers, Pierce Morgan. Give us the fucking answers.
Yeah,
How are we going to make Palestine free?
Yeah,
if it was
solve this crisis right now, Pierce. Figure this out. Give me an answer right now. How are we gonna solve? Let's do it. You right now.
As simple as me.
You have
if
the
it was
answer,
as simple as
Sway.
me just giving a
Pierce.
simple answer
Pierce
now, it would have
Sway.
been done by now. It's a very
Eric,
complicated
talk to
issue.
us.
But let me ask you again: why?
What is this?
How much blood pussy you getting, Eric?
How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you? I've been waiting for you. You've been hiding from me.
Yes.
This is like
taxes.
Joker, Snow
I'm
White.
still getting that accountant to do your fucked up taxes, Eric. Eric, how you a dirty cop
Thank
or
God
what?
for Halloween.
Eric, how you doing? Eric, talk to us.
How are you?
Eric, talk to us, please.
I wanted to hear from the champion, and his name is Eric Adam.
Okay.
Let me ask you again, seriously, why did you do what you did to Alec Baldwin? And
Oh,
what did
sorry.
you hope to achieve?
Alec Baldwin, look at me. Pierce, honestly. Pierce, look at my body. Look at this. Look at me. Pierce, I was maimed by a white man.
Listen, I understand you're a performative artist. I understand you're trying to make everybody laugh. You've made your joke about your terrible maiming.
Satellite, you're lashing me.
Right, okay, I'm not lashing you.
I was beaten. This is the third. This is the third white man to beat me this week.
Right.
Third white man. Yesterday, my white boyfriend.
How long is
beat
this
the
gonna
shit
go,
out of me. This is
Pierce?
the third white man. Monday was Alec. The second day was another white man. Third day, Pierce Morgan is beating
I think this
me
is just
up
sort of her
on
shtick.
International TV. Oh my God, Pierce, you're hurting
Here's
me.
what?
Pierce, you're really hurting me right now.
You see, here's my problem.
This is why he
my
gets
problem
paid the
with
big
your
bucks, 'cause
performative
I would've cut
art,
this off
crackhead. Is I don't see
within the first
I don't
30
see what
seconds,
good you're
but
doing in the
he's
cause
still-
of Palestine.
he's
All you're
still
doing
getting the
is
views.
turning the whole war into a joke.
You're really hurting me. This war is not a joke.
Well, why are you making
Why
are you making it such a mockery? Explain to me.
How am I making a
What is she
mockery?
eating?
How?
Because you're making it all about you and your silly pranks, and you're trying to have fun.
All of you are like
And actually, behind all this is a very serious war going on.
I'm always serious. I'm always serious. You're hurting me right now, Pierre.
All right.
Like you're hurting.
It doesn't happen often, but I'm feeling myself very much
Are
in
you going
agreement
to
with
explain
Pierce
why you
here.
did what you did to Alec Baldwin or not?
I got hurt. I'm a victim. I'm a victim.
Not like though I'm not real. Oh, Jesus. It's like
all of you. You're hurting me. Another white man.
Okay, you see the trouble with this.
it's just I've never
performative
really
art is it's not
liked
funny.
that kind of humor,
You've
like
got
the
one
sort of
gag
gross out
that you've
humor.
been maimed by Alec Baldwin, which you haven't.
the
what you haven't
the
explained
foaming
to the
thing
audience,
she's
and
doing
I've
right
given you
now,
the
I'm
chance
not
repeatedly,
it's not
is why you
enjoying
did
it.
what you did and why you think what you're doing now does anything but make a mockery of all these people dying in Gaza. Because that's what you're doing.
That's that. Look, Pierce, you're trying to spin this into some bullshit. I know exactly what you're doing, Pierce.
No,
I know
no,
your tactics.
you are.
You're
You
British.
are.
You're fucking annoying. You eat tea and crumpets. You have your pinky in the fucking air. You salute the queen. Fuck the crown. Fuck Buckingham Palace. Now I'm getting angry. Because, Pierce, this is what you do.
now you're getting
You
angry.
set people up for shit.
Now you're getting
He's
angry.
setting.
people up for shit. I know
He's
exactly what
setting
you do,
her.
Pierce.
I don't know
because
if
I
he's
do it
setting
too,
her
Pierce.
up. I
Yeah.
think.
And I have a fucking audience, Pierce. You think you could set me up, Pierce? Listen, Pierce.
I think
I
you know
don't-
what
I think she came up on here on her
I think you're
own.
frankly.
Say it, Pierce.
I think honestly, crackhead, you are honestly pathetic.
I think we're gonna skip.
This is
And
one of the
you're
most
also
pathetic
the last couple
podcasts
of
of James
minutes of
Farr. Well,
this.
Emily, I mean, on one level, I guess it was quite funny, but on another level, I didn't like what she did to Alec Baldwin. I've got no truck for Alec Baldwin.
He did
whatsoever.
almost 10
And I think
minutes
with
of
this
that.
case that he's got hanging over him. I hope that
And I
justice is
watched it.
served because
I can't
ultimately
tell which
he
is
did fire the
worse.
gun that killed that poor woman, and has been on some kind of weird PR tour ever since. But I don't like to see any public figure, whether it's Eric Adams, the mayor, on a plane, or Alec Baldwin getting a coffee, harangued and harassed in that manner. Now, I tried to conduct a serious interview. She obviously
Harangued
wasn't
is a
interested
good
in doing
word.
that, wanted to turn the whole thing into a foul-mouthed rant and joke and performative thing. Fine. That's entirely her right to do it. But what did you think of these harassing?
I don't know
not
what
just
you're
by her, but
accomplishing
other
by
people
keeping it going.
of
It's
public
just
figures.
like you said. It just makes a mockery of the whole thing. It's like it's
tried to
a
conduct
super
a
serious
interview with
thing.
crackhead Barbie.
Well, no, I was asking her about a viral video of her harassing Alec Baldwin, which I do actually think is a serious thing. I do actually think public figures should not be harassed in that manner. I've had a bit of it myself, and I think it crosses a line, right? And Alec Baldwin, as far as I'm aware, has not said anything particularly sensational about the war at all. So why she is harassing him in the street in the way that she did, I think is worthy of examination. Now, as it turned out, she had no.
I mean, it's
interest
worthy
in
of
having serious
examination. I just don't know if it's
conversation.
worthy of an interview.
So we've cut it off. But I don't think I should be blamed for.
What's this TikTok?
But I think one has to account equally for the Israeli... Would you shut the fuck up? God damn, you pretentious British fucking moron! I have never heard of you. Shut the fuck up!
Getting on someone who is...
It was funny because I think at one point Hassan says that word for word almost.
Of a quite big news story in America for harassing a famous star. You, Hassan?
No, it was for
yes,
clout.
I'll watch.
That's why she went on the show also. For
If TikTok gets banned, I'll watch TikTok
the ongoing ethnic cleansing
for
campaign
you
in Gaza
on
and
stream.
what's happening to the Palestinian people as a vehicle to create more social clout for yourself, social capital for yourself is pretty disingenuous, pretty messed up.
I have to jump in there, though, because isn't that what everybody's doing? Isn't that what this show is also doing? Because you're talking about create political clout, create noise,
I'll come back
to get clicks, to make money.
Listen, let's
Jesus
not
Christ.
be disingenuous,
No,
right?
but the whole
We're all in...
Then why didn't you? If that's true, then why didn't you turn down the interview? If you feel so strong, I mean, like, can I do it legally? I don't think. I think we may have found a loophole for you, Rogan. Just get a Canadian to watch them for you.
Well, actually, and Cracker Barney said it herself. She said, we're no different. And I kind of agree with Cracker Barney. I didn't think I'd say
If you think there's any correlation between what she just did on the show...
someone screaming over someone and not letting them speak, there's definitely a correlation.
Well, you think that I've treated you like she treated Ali Baldwin?
No, I'm just saying that I think that actually you aren't that different. You're trying to do the same thing.
I'll come back to that.
You're just doing it in a different way.
No, it's a preposterous suggestion. I do not do what she does, right? But Hassan, here's the point of...
I mean, you did just bring her on your show.
Mate, to you, a lot
to
of people
do
think
the
a lot of
thing
these
that you're
protesters
condemning.
At universities in America are performative. The ones who are chanting their support for Hamas, the ones who are chanting about intifada and pretending it's not about a violent uprising. I mean, do you accept that a lot of that is not only performative, but public demonstration of support for terrorism?
Absolutely not. I don't think that... I mean, all protests are technically performative, obviously, but there's a very clear-cut goal for the group of students at Columbia and many other universities. I was in Melbourne not that long ago, and I attended a Palestinian protest there, a Palestinian rally there, and the students there were also demanding the exact same thing, that they divest their colleges.
Oh, she's making sure she's got the picture ready.
A lot of the companies
just,
that are
you see that? She made sure she's getting the
a lot
picture
of the
ready.
companies that are directly involved in operations in the West Bank, a lot of the companies that are playing a role in the regular maintenance of the apartheid regime of Israel and helping Israel conduct an ethnic cleansing campaign. That is the ultimate goal. That is why they're trying to very clearly cause a little bit of a disruption and engage in.
But are you comfortable? Okay, but are you comfortable?
The most American thing you can do.
Are you comfortable with the ones who are seen chanting support for Hamas or chanting about intifada?
I am perfectly comfortable with people chanting about the intifada. As far as the Hamas thing goes, any kind of protest is always going to have a litany of random people, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. You have to look at the actual tangible goals that the protest movement is stating they're interested in. And I think that those goals, and I think you will agree with me on this, Piers, I think those goals are pretty valid overall. I think that they want to, one, recenter the attention to the genocide that is ongoing in Gaza, and two, demand that their tuition dollars do not go to
Are there names for the other three people? I know who Hassan is.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's a campus. There's going to be a sister campus that is
pro-Israel journalist Emily Austin, PMU contributors Esther Krakue, and James Barr.
Housed the likes of the late great Edward Said.
James Barr looks familiar, but his name's it's not coming to me.
Who pay tuition for projects such as this one will not be able to go to that sister campus. I find that abhorrent, but it's everyday existence in Israel.
Let me bring in Emily. You've been listening to all this. Your response?
with all due respect, Hassan, why do you feel that Columbia, or any college for that matter, owes you to divest from Israel? Why do you think your opinion is correct? Because so far, I heard the classic buzzwords: apartheid, discriminatory, ethnic cleansing, and genocide, which is funny because it's all the exact opposite. So if I may ask you, what about Israel is apartheid? You also just said the students in Israel, the campus in Israel would not allow Palestinians to join. Are you confused, or do you know nothing about the country of Israel? Because let me remind you, Jews are not allowed in the West Bank and Gaza. However, Arabs have full Israeli citizenship, have the rights, are members of the Knesset, which is the equivalent of, you can think of, Congress, and even prosecuted a former Prime Minister, Ehud Olmert, an Arab judge. So what apartheid exactly are you speaking about? What genocide? What ethnic cleansing? And secondly, how dare you say it's okay to talk about an intifada? Let me remind you, the intifada, last time it happened in Israel, consisted of thousands of people dying in bus bombings. So are you saying that you support terrorism and killing innocent people?
Well, intifada simply just means revolution, and I'm an American, and in 1776,
violent
we did
revolution.
one of those, and it was pretty fucking good.
And it was also very violent.
Do you think the American?
Okay,
do you think the American Revolution was a tickle party? Of course not.
We also bombed Hiroshima.
Don't. Yeah, I know, and that was also unjust and unimaginably cruel. But of course, the Israel Defender is also defending nuking civilians and killing them by the hundreds of thousands. Now listen,
so when it fits your narrative, it's justified. But when it goes against it, it's unjustified.
I mean, I don't think that. I don't think they dropped a nuke.
Okay, look,
you said.
Just to remind everybody, I'm actually moderating this. That's an interesting point that Emily just raised.
I've been here the whole
It does seem that you're
time.
very selective about the violence that you support. That when you support it, it's justified. When other people use things in a violent way that you don't support, it's unjustified. Seems like it's all skewed to what Hassan Piker thinks.
Well, not necessarily just what I think. I think that there are obvious markers, obvious boundaries. I don't think violence against civilians is justified. I have talked about October 7 on this very same show, saying that it was a tragedy. It was atrocities that occurred on October 7, specifically.
Soldier Killer, you're already
you
pretty
target
much up thin
civilians
ice
in
with
any capacity, I think that is
the name there.
unacceptable. However, this does not mean that violence will
let's
not
watch your
occur
language a
in
little
many
bit.
circumstances. Violence
Or it
has
might
occurred
give you a
in
little bit
every
of time out,
single
cool off.
revolutionary action. Many good revolutionary actions. Obviously, America bombing Hiroshima and Nagasaki with an atom bomb. That was not a very
was what
good
Hamas did on
moment
October the
for
7th.
anybody. It was not a very good moment for human civilization at all.
Was what Hamas did on
But
October the
that's not the
7th?
point.
Was what Hamas did on October the 7th an example of what you would call a justified revolution?
I don't look at every single
Is it?
act of violence. I look at
You've
the
literally
players,
just been
I look
reciting
at
a whole
the
load of
systems
them.
of oppression
Why
when
are
we
you
are analyzing it.
why are
And
you
do it too,
avoiding
Piers.
October the 7th?
You do it too.
No, I don't.
I'm not avoiding it. I've talked about it a million times
Well,
over.
let me ask you one more time.
This is not what we're here to discuss.
Emily, hang on.
This is not what we're here to
Hassan,
discuss.
let me
She
just ask
said
you. Let me
very
just ask you
specifically,
directly
Israel's
one more
not an
time.
apartheid state.
Let me ask you one more time. Do you believe what happened on October the 7th was a justified act of revolution?
No, I believe you.
I do not. And I do think
there
that...
you go, Hassan answering the question.
Let me clarify. Let me clarify something very important here. Events that unfolded on October 7 were atrocities. That much is clear. Those atrocities could have been avoided if Israel was not an apartheid regime. Israel has been an apartheid regime for 75 years.
In the
early...
You keep repeating that.
No, you can't just chime in. You can't just chime in. You ask me a question. You ask me a question. I'm going to give you an answer.
Because you're repeating
Israel
these lies.
has been an apartheid regime
ahead,
since
please.
its inception. Until 1967, Israel was an apartheid regime for the Palestinian citizens of Israel, the Arabs, as you called them. There was a two-tier criminal justice system. They were subjected to the military court processes and not the civil court processes until 1967. After 1967, they got citizenship. There are obviously still many different social issues that pertain to the Palestinian citizens of Israel, the Arabs that are living in Israel, those who are not Jewish, of course. However, Israel currently is occupying the West Bank. There are more than 2 million Palestinians that live in the West Bank. Israel's illegally occupying the West Bank. There are checkpoints. There are license plates that restrict Palestinian travel.
It's my show. Hey, aimbot Vinny, 6 months.
That's what I destroyed Palestinian.
Oh, is that what you... No, that makes sense.
Welcome back. We're just watching this. Not very
statehood. Now, of course,
useful
all of this is readily
panel.
available
I don't know
for
what.
those who want
This
to learn
is
about
dead
it,
bird
yourself
inside.
included. I hope you
Don't
look it
open
up.
sort
But
of
Selim
moment
is
where
an
I don't know
Israeli
what I
human rights
expected.
organization which declared Israel to be an apartheid regime in 2021 and
How's
April
your
of
day
2021.
going, Vinny?
Amnesty International declared Israel to be an apartheid regime.
Let me.
and
Before
so
I
did-
move.
and so
hang
did
on.
the
Hang
Human
on.
Rights Watch.
Hang on.
Are we gonna let the other two say
I
anything?
just want to bring in our two British panelists.
There we
here,
go.
Just finally, just to clarify.
The ones who are
I can't
actually in the
quite
room with
work
you.
out whether you
Cheers.
said you do think October the 7th was an unjustified act of revolution, or whether you changed your mind. So can you clarify?
Are you gonna answer?
I think that violent means of maintaining an apartheid is inevitably going to yield violent retaliation.
Well,
This
it's
is just something
justified.
that is completely avoidable.
When you're 12, you're right. You're at the right spot.
Civilian
Hey,
deaths are never
Tool
justified.
using mammal.
Hang on,
That's my
Emily.
point.
Hang on, Emily. Emily, let me.
Ooh, we're almost at a hype train there. Thanks for the Prime sub. Really appreciate it.
Look Poland's mother in the eyes.
100
No,
biddies.
you look
Let's
this
get to a hype
person's
train.
mother in the eyes, and you tell him that this was justified. You tell him his arm being blown off and being held in captivity for 200 days is justified.
I do love that the Israel
false
defender
narrative,
has no
you think that
capacity to
Gaza
fucking hear
belongs
anything
to
I'm
the
saying.
Palestinians who are
What are you
made of
talking about?
identity.
It just, if you're not going to respect me
You
and
think
listen
that
to what
we're
I have to
occupying
say,
the West
which, by the
Bank.
way,
You
of course
think
you
we've
don't respect.
occupied Gaza.
Oh, if you talk
Look what
over each other,
happened.
nobody
I'll
can
just
hear
keep
you.
speaking
I just
What do you
want
mean
to
I
give.
That's what
think?
you
It's
do.
not
I just
I
want to
think.
give
It's not I
Hassan-
think. It's the entire
Hassan,
world.
I
No.
I guess
No,
we're
it
not
is
letting
you.
the other
You
two
only
panelists
think
talk.
that
Emily,
from
please.
The other two aren't
Let me
getting in
handle
there.
this, Emily. Hassan, just before I come to
The
the
other
two
two are
people who
not
are with me
getting,
here, I just
comment, I
need
don't
some
think.
clarity here, because it seems like you're dancing around whether you think October the 7th
Piers,
was
why
justified
are
or
we
not.
doing this? Why are we doing this back and forth masturbation? I've already given you my
Yeah,
fucking
Piers, why are you
position.
doing this?
I'm
He's
sick and
happy.
tired
It's
of
Jews
repeating it
being
over and over
killed.
again.
Okay, I
Because
just
it's
asked
Jews,
this-
it's okay.
Ask this
Emily,
demon
stop
next to
talking.
me
Group, it's
wearing
Emily,
a fucking
come back
IDF
to you.
dog
Only
tag.
when it's Jews, it's okay.
Please
Without
stop
Jews, it's
shouting
not.
at each
demon next
other.
to me wearing an IDF dog tag if she actually thinks Israel's
No,
actions are
bring them
justifiable.
home.
Do you
It's
see
to bring
me
the
rocking the
hostages
fucking
home. The hostages
All right,
that you
you're talking
rightly
over each
believe
other.
belong
matter.
to
Yeah,
us.
we're not.
Belong to
Those
Gaza.
other two
I'm going to
panelists.
give you
Why
two.
is
I'm
it-
going to let you two
Bring them
calm
home.
down.
That
It's
is
pointless.
the
We
FTAG.
cannot hear you
Almost
when you talk over each other.
incredibly impressive how
Every
these
time
two have
recently
held
I
their
had
poker
someone from
faces this
both
whole
sides on,
time.
like, it goes like this.
I'm wearing this rusty necklace.
Please,
because
can you
there are
listen to
200
me,
You
Emily?
almost-
civilians in Gaza
All right,
right now.
can you
as
stop
hostages.
doing this to each other, please?
Emily,
Nobody
Emily.
can.
This is
nobody can
wild.
understand a word.
I haven't heard.
Let me come to Esther
like
and
Piers
James.
said, I haven't understood.
This is
a
one
word
of my
that's been
problems.
said
No,
the
I
whole
want to hear
time.
if Emily condemns
No,
the actions of
Hassan,
Israel.
you
Why
will
don't you
please
talk
let me
about that?
moderate the debate.
They're never getting
condemn
in.
the idea.
I've got two
I condemn
panelists here who've
the
not
fact
had a
that on
word
October
yet.
7th,
Because you're a
they
fucking
kidnapped
terrorist.
Please
civilians
stop
from their
talking.
homes. And I think you're a terrorist. And I think
Here
you're
we
a
go.
terrorist as well.
Okay, well, I'm not the one wearing.
Because
I'm
until
not
the
the one
hostages
wearing
are home,
the
don't expect the war to be over.
Signia. Yeah, I know.
Bring
you don't
them
care about
home.
the hostages. If you
I
cared
love
about
how
the
you're
hostages,
condemning
you would
me.
be
You are
screaming at
exposing
Benjamin
your
Netanyahu.
own terrorism
Benjamin
on live
Netanyahu
television.
is the hostage
you
killer.
are exposing. You know.
Benjamin
excuse
Netanyahu
me.
has
You
killed
should
more
condemn
hostages
Hamas.
than
What do
Hamas
I
You need
have
to
to
be
think you're
condemning
achieving
Hamas
here?
for not only oppressing the Palestinian people, but for spreading terrorism. I don't
It's my
see your
show,
outrage
ding
at
dong.
Hamas. Israel gave Gaza
All
back
right,
in
I would like to,
2005,
please.
and Hamas has turned
Can
this
you
into
both
a
please?
terrorist hate.
We hit a hype train. Rogan with the resubscribed for 16 months. Thank you.
Emily and Hassan, can you please show some courtesy
Hamas
to the
is
other
the lesser
panelists?
evil in comparison to Israel.
They're never getting a word in edgewise.
Stop talking, both of you, and let the other two panelists have a
You want a
say.
soundbite, Pierce? I'll give
Give
you a
them some
soundbite.
courtesy.
Hassan, shut up.
Please, some courtesy for your co-panelists here. Now, Esther, this is one of
Thank
the problems
you.
I have with this whole debate.
I was getting anxious
is that
there. I was like, can we
increasingly,
please?
It just descends into a screaming match between pro-Palestinians and pro-Israelis.
And the biggest losers are the victims of this war.
Oh my God, shut up,
32,000 dead
Hassan.
Palestinians, over 1,500 dead Israelis. These are the biggest victims of this because you're shouting at each other and nothing is getting, like, you're completely, forget having no courtesy for us, you're completely disrespecting actual victims of this conflict, which, by the way, didn't happen in a vacuum. And I think that's the most important thing to say about this. None of this happened in a vacuum. Of course, October the 7th was an atrocity and it was completely unjustified. There was no justification for butchering people in the way that they did. But it didn't happen in a vacuum. A lot of the people that live in Gaza weren't even, weren't even born at the time that Hamas came in power. So I really just, I despise this, you're a terrorist sympathizer, you're a genocide supporter, all of this, when really the people that we should be talking about deserve better.
Okay. James, on the wider point of these protests...
Well, I couldn't get to that part because...
Oh my God, Hassan!
What the apartheid
this is not your
stream.
stream.
Cut in immediately to chirp about some random shit.
Okay, you were both abusing each other. It was very unedifying.
It was very
Let me ask James. James, on the protests...
Yeah, dude.
On the protests, look, I believe in the right to protest. That's an absolute bedrock of any democracy. But I don't believe in the right to support terror groups publicly or to chant about support for Hamas or to chant about Intifada, which is a violent uprising. Where's the line for you with these?
I agree. I think we have to condemn what Hamas did, and I don't think the words that have been used so far have been strong enough. I mean, it was the worst thing we've seen in a very long time. It was disgusting, appalling, awful for everyone involved. I also have a lot of sympathy, if not, I can't think of a bigger word, for the people of Gaza. It's awful, and I will agree with you. I do want a free Palestine, and I also want a free and successful Israel, but I don't want innocent people murdered. So yeah, you can't go to a protest and start shouting about support for Hamas. That's insane.
Isn't it ironic that something like this has become a haven for like the mentally unwell? You're talking about something as serious as a conflict in Israel and Gaza, and for some reason you have really uneducated people that are clearly 20 years ago would have been in an asylum supporting this openly, not even knowing the conflict, not even knowing the context of what they're supporting. And
I don't even know what your name is, bud.
I don't even know who you
for some reason, we even give it airtime.
DFBH, thank you for the follow.
These people don't deserve airtime.
Right? Everyone is so triggered on both sides, and rightly so, because a lot of terrible stuff has happened. So that's where the emotion is coming from. But really,
can we maybe it kind of undercuts your point that you really take what's happening in Israel and Gaza seriously. And then to turn around and say, oh, both sides are just so triggered. It's like, well, it can't be both.
The same thing. And that is for innocent people to not be murdered.
We've got a minute left on this hype train. We got one more subby coming in, or 100 biddies. Can we get there?
Please, I'll
first
come
level.
to you. Let me just ask Hassan. When you and Emily go at each other like you just did, nobody wins. I mean, no one can really understand a word you're saying because you're shouting over each other. You end up just calling each other terrorists. There's no
the wokes are ruining the war.
Here. There's no constructive conversation.
These goddamn
it's just
DEI
that can be opposed sides abusing each other. Do you understand that?
Yeah, listen, Piers, okay? This is going to always be a very heated discussion, okay? Having a conversation about how heated this discussion is utterly unproductive. Every single moment that we use on air, not talking about every single university building being desecrated, destroyed.
We've gotten 100 messages
we're having
today.
this conversation on the eve of hundreds of mass graves being unearthed right now in many different parts of Gaza, around hospitals that Israel had laid siege to, is disgusting. I agree. I came on here, as I have done last time as well, and as I will probably do in the future as well, with one simple goal in mind, which is to address all of the misinformation that surrounds stuff like this. As far as the crackhead Barbie thing goes, yeah, she's a random TikTok influencer who gives a shit about what she has to say. She's obviously doing it for clout. But the students over at Columbia, okay, the students that I have talked to at the Columbia University Apartheid Divest group, the students that I've talked to from Jewish Voice for Peace.
All right, Emily, let me just ask you the same thing I asked
Did you just cut?
When you guys
scream
at each other and call each other terrorists, it doesn't obviously achieve anything other than
did he just stop talking really abruptly?
You know, is there not a better way we can have this conversation?
Funnily enough, correct. And funnily enough, I have the same exact answer as Hassan. My job here is to make sure that I'm debunking false narratives that Hassan is clearly spewing. My job here is to call out hypocrisy, and I just saw another one where he's saying that crackhead Barney, whoever the hell that girl was, is a lunatic, but Aaron Bushnell, who lights himself on fire, is a hero. You can't pick and choose whatever fits your narrative, and I keep on repeating that over and over again, because the Palestinian movement will literally just take what they can get, spew all of the truth into their false narrative, spread misinformation, and then you say that we're the liars. You tell me I'm wearing an IDF dog tag. I'm wearing a bring them home for the hostages that you... No, it says bring them home.
You're using the hostages as a simple political tool to make propaganda in the West. Is quite disgusting. The protests that are happening in Israel right now are massive.
Are a political tool?
And those protests,
what?
You are using humans in captivity as a political tool. It's so obvious.
Why, Hassan? Why are you dehumanizing the hostages? Because I have no problem admitting the Palestinians.
I don't know. I think using the photo of a hostage as a political prop on a debate panel might be a bit dehumanizing. I don't know.
I feel terrible.
You're using them as a
so
political pawn.
I didn't say that.
If you cared about the hostages, you would be in Tel Aviv right now alongside.
Let me bring in James. Let me
Let
bring in James, please.
I'm sorry that I can't listen to that.
Let me bring in James.
I agree with both of you.
Sorry, can you please, when I say stop talking, please stop talking. We've got 4 people here. James.
If anyone is using hostages, surely it's Hamas, Hassan. How can you say that? How can you use that argument? That's a crazy thing to say. It's Hamas that have taken these people from their homes,
tens of thousands of people in Israel. There are currently tens of thousands of Israeli citizens right now in the streets of Israel, in the streets of Tel Aviv, outside of Benjamin Netanyahu's house, protesting every single day. What are they protesting? They're protesting for Benjamin Netanyahu to facilitate a ceasefire with Hamas so that they can actually bring the hostages home. That is precisely the number one goal of the family members of the hostages.
Who
and
is
if
using
anyone
the hostages?
on this panel was being even a little bit honest, they would recognize the reality that, listen, just listen.
You didn't listen to my question.
Listen to what I'm saying, and you will understand perhaps what I'm trying to imply here.
That's very patronizing.
Utilizing the hostages. Yeah, I am being patronizing. I don't know who the fuck you are, and you're over here chirping all the way from fucking London about Palestine and doing a both sides are fucking fine type bullshit where you're talking about how you want to fucking free Palestine, but also simultaneously, both sides got a lot going on. Shut the fuck up. You don't know anything, okay? I don't give a shit about what your perspective is.
I agree.
Hassan doesn't like what you have to say, so you're wrong. It's Hassan's way or the highway.
I mean, you are. There is no both sides on a genocide. Is there a both sides on a genocide? There is no both sides.
Well, the thing is, it's interesting you should mention the hostages.
What is in the Hamas charter? They want a Jewish genocide, but that's okay. But a Jewish genocide is okay.
If you're talking about the well-being of the if you're talking about the well-being of the hostages, what sense did it make for the IDF to flatten about 70% of Gaza? Because I completely agree. Bring the hostages home. If you look at Gaza, the topography of Gaza right now, it looks like a pancake. So I'm sorry, this whole argument of Hamas using them as human tools, fine, but the IDF has also been using it to continue that campaign. If you were told that if, God forbid, if your relative was one of the hostages and you saw what's happening right now, and I met someone whose mother is a hostage, and he said he didn't want his mother and her being taken to be used in the name of violence. Right now, he's sitting at home wondering, okay, what is the logic of trying to bring my mother home when you flattened Gaza? Please explain that to us.
So, can I pose a question?
You might very well pull those hostages from under.
Okay, let Emily respond to that.
Everyone wants to criticize the IDF's response, but nobody wants to tell me what should Israel be doing to retaliate October 7th, eradicate Hamas from preventing another October 7th, and bring the hostages home.
I have an idea.
Do you have a solution?
I have an idea. Do not flatten Gaza and potentially pull your own hostages up from under the rubble, like have been done with thousands of Palestinians. That's a good idea. Yeah. Have you found any of them under the rubble?
So you're saying that you don't have an answer.
That is the answer.
So
there is an answer. Don't do the thing you're currently doing. That is an answer.
How about not killing the hostages?
Very interesting.
I have an answer.
Thank you for proving my point.
It's called the dissolution of the apartheid regime. That's what it's called. Dissolve the apartheid regime.
So what would you like to see happen, Hassan?
Allow Palestinians breathing room. Do you not understand the English language? Dissolve the apartheid
English, motherfucker. Do you speak it?
First of all, you need a Xanax. Okay, so should Israel do
I'm
to
sorry,
the West Bank what they did to
Palestinians
Gaza?
have been ruthlessly slaughtered by the Israeli
Israel
state.
Give
It makes
back
me a
the
little
land
upset
so that it can
when
turn
someone is
into another
defending that.
Gaza? Is that what you'd like to see? Another terrorist haven launching rockets all day instead of turning it to Singapore? Because that's what they did in 2005.
Wait, hold on. What is Singapore?
The billions of dollars in aid they turned into building tunnels. Is that what you'd like to see?
I don't know. Have I gone
Singapore
deaf?
every day.
Sorry,
What,
Emily, is the
Singapore
West
an
Bank
open-air
supposed to be
prison?
Singapore?
What are you talking about?
Is the West Bank supposed to be Singapore?
The West Bank received. The West Bank has a port. They can import and export. Israel gave them a great piece of land. They received billions of dollars.
Israel gave them a great
US.
piece of land.
Israel gave. Are you mad? They had a chance to rebuild, but they spent the last 15 plus years crying that they don't have enough land because there is never enough land for them instead of rebuilding. But that's okay. Build terrorist tunnels. Don't
Also, I
build
don't
hotels
think
and don't rebuild
Israel
civilization.
has
Just build
not
terrorist
allowed
tunnels to keep hostages
Palestinians
in.
to have a nation state that they deserve by international law since the inception of the Israeli nation state. What you are saying
I guess
is
there's
insane to me. The fact that you brought up the last 15 years as Palestinians crying is disgusting.
Oh, I have one more question.
You are a disgusting little monster.
One more question.
I guess there is the Dead
That's not
Sea
offering
there.
contiguity to the Palestinians in the form of a state, which is under international law, is just simply Palestinians
I have one
crying.
question.
Okay?
This West Bank,
don't want a
Singapore.
two-state
Hold on.
solution.
This
They want
West
a
Bank,
one-state
Singapore.
solution that eradicates the Israelis, which is not an option.
Fine. This West Bank,
You're wrong.
Singapore. What place
You're wrong.
does the settlements play in that? How? Please paint a picture of how the West Bank of Singapore or whatever, Singapore of the West Bank. How does this illegal settlements fit into that?
I think
Oh,
you're
she
completely
thinks
you're missing
the West Bank
Just
could have
explain
become
how
Singapore
settlements
because, like,
live in
Singapore
piece of
isn't
land.
Singapore like a
I'm
port
explaining.
city?
Okay, I'm listening.
The picture is they got a great piece of land to turn into society. Instead
Who
of turning it
got the
into
land?
civilized society,
Who did?
Israel gave the land to Gaza. They
So then why the
they
Israeli
removed
settlements?
It's not
Israelis
Israel's
from
land
their
to give.
homes.
But
It's
then
not
why
Israel's
are
land to
Israeli
give.
settlements
It is not Israel's land to
2005.
give.
There are no Jews or Israelis. There are no settlements in Gaza.
In the West
they
Bank.
gave it to
In the West Bank.
Yeah,
In
okay,
the
but
West
now
Bank.
switches to
I'm
Gaza.
speaking about Gaza.
Yeah, but you were just speaking about West Bank.
I'm
I'm
showing
showing you. I'm telling you that if Israel
Palestinians-
pulls out completely from the West Bank, if Israel pulls out from the West Bank, you can bet your ass it turns into the next Gaza. The world does not need two Gazas because one Gaza has already caused enough damage. If, however,
Yes.
Gaza decides to demand
Every
that
argument
Hamas
with Israel
removes
is
himself
about
from
some
power,
hypothetical.
and they
It's-
can have democracy,
Israel has to do a
then yes,
genocide
there's
because if
potential for
Israel
a
doesn't do a
two-state
genocide,
solution.
then the Gaza
There's
is
no
not
sounds a bit
genocide.
like
The
you're
only
victim
genocide
blaming
is the
Palestinians
Hamas
in
charter that
Gaza.
wants to
cannot
eradicate
do
the Jews.
defensive genocide.
You know, it's interesting the
cannot
word
do defensive
genocide
There is no
because
genocide.
hang on, it's
There is
interesting the
no
word. It's
genocide
interesting. Hang
happening.
on.
It's just a
Israel is
buzzword.
doing
I would love to get a
genocide.
word in,
More
please.
That old buzzword,
Interesting the word
genocide.
genocide, because I've listened to all this fractious debate, everyone talking over each other. The truth is that actually only one side is publicly said that they wish to pursue a genocide, and that is Hamas. Hamas, after October the 7th, through their official spokesman on camera, said they wanted to do it again and again and again. That is the purest articulation of a genocide imaginable. And the one thing I never hear from the pro-Palestinian side
You
is
really think-
what Israel was
Piers,
actually...
Piers,
Hang on.
Piers,
No, don't
Piers.
interrupt me.
So one
I haven't
Hamas
asked you a
official,
question yet.
One Hamas guy.
Sorry, I
But
need to
that's
ask you a
ridiculous.
question.
You're being a ridiculous person. You're being a
Just
ridiculous
son, you
person.
gotta at least let
Nobody
the
ever told
host
me.
How many
ask the
Israeli
question.
officials, even on your show, have said we should keep doing what we have been doing to Gaza over and over again? How does that not register in the same genocidal intent? If you think what that dude was saying, which was, by the way, ridiculous what he was saying, the Hamas official was saying, is that we're going to do October 7th over and over again.
But he said it.
We are justified in doing it over and over again. Yes, I find that to be abhorrent. However, what you fail to recognize is that's the genocidal intent, but not Amalek. That's the genocidal intent, but not saying we are fighting human animals. And that's why we have to cut off their food, their water, and their electricity. That was Defense Minister Yoav Gallant
There we
who said
go with
that.
the lies
Benjamin
again.
Netanyahu
You're saying
has
Israel
routinely
cuts
talked
off their
about this over and over
electricity.
again.
They don't even
Israeli
provide
interior
their
security-
electricity. You're
Israeli-
saying they cut off their water. They don't
Israeli
cut off their water.
politicians.
They did, but they did all of those things.
You are spewing lies on national
Can you stop?
television.
Can you? I'm
I
talking.
think so. Hang on. Again, you're talking over each other. Some of the comments.
Army that
there's no
provides
doubt,
aid
Emily.
To people they're at war with.
Some of the
Only
comments.
Israel.
Some of the.
Israel is.
No, Piers, I'm not letting
You're
you
losing control, Piers.
It's pointless.
Oh
I
yeah,
swear to God.
he's got like 40 seconds left.
we're
He's
getting nowhere.
pulling
Thank
he's
you.
pulling the
Yoav
escape
Gallant
hatch.
say that?
Israel's cutting off electricity,
Okay.
water, and aid. Just
We're getting-
Did
spewing
Defense
lies. I'm not
Minister
gonna let
Yoav
you do it.
Gallant say we are fighting human animals or not? Answer that question. Did Defense Minister Yoav
Yes,
Gallant
yes,
say
yes.
we are
Hamas
fighting
is
human
human
animals and
animals.
we have to cut off their
Hamas,
electricity,
correct.
cut off their food, cut off their water?
Okay.
Yeah, the slight
You know what? I'm
Israel-
going to cut
Israel
off. I'm
provides
going to cut off this
79%
debate.
of their electricity. The rest is Hamas.
I'm going to cut off the
That's
debate
not
because we're
Israel.
getting
Israel
absolutely
provides-
nowhere. But I appreciate everybody joining me. Thank you very
No,
much.
it's
indeed.
not. It's not going well. Pierce did not go great. Okay, what else we got? I don't think we have much. It's only been going for about 2 hours. Is there? There's other stuff to watch. Oh, what was the one thing I was looking at? Has anyone ever seen that TraumaZone? Adam Curtis. On the collapse of the Soviet Union and the rise of Putin. I think this came out in 2022. Never actually watched the whole thing. I think Coca-Cola.
Ты знаешь что? Я мечтаю, чтобы у меня жил кокер-спаниель. Кокер. Потом обязательно ирландский сеттер, обязательно 2 французских бульдога, значит, бультерьер. Бультерьер это? Бультерьер. Такой. Это гибрид? Нет, бультерьер это у генерала Паттона был такой, который разбил Роммеля. Вот. Потом, конечно, обязательно несколько пятнистых оленей. Обязательно дикобраз. Обязательно, конечно, будет жить у меня.
У меня невероятное пристрастие к лемурам.
Лемуры будут в доме пола.
Они будут висеть, по всему дому висят.
Они умирают. Ты знаешь, сейчас эпидемия страшная.
Среди лемуров?
Да, и они умирают по непонятным причинам от обезвоживания организма.
Это что родители все для него. Такая наша материнская доля. Встречать, провожать, никуда не денешься от этого. Ну ничего, надо все. Вы знаете, я Сашку провожала, я спокойно была. Почему? Ну, время было более спокойно. Сейчас такая обстановка напряженная, конечно. Что все должны с ним жить. Это наш священный дом, да? Священный дом. Вот. Каждый мальчик должен. Поэтому мы уж к этому готовы были.
So see that? No, you can't.
Встретим. Как-нибудь выберем, с мамой приедем еще. Я не как на пенсию брошу все.
В Афганистане уже погибло более 13 тысяч наших парней. За что? Я спрашиваю себя.
Collective fund when the banks are something river. Bornez? Some river? watch this, and then that'll be it for the night. Maybe we'll watch. There's a couple of parts of this, so we'll probably watch this in a few parts. Novgorod television faction. It's the night market. Worm bin. Oh, I already got a worm bin.
рубля. В ней находились следующие вещи. Одна мужская рубашка стоимостью 9 рублей, зубная щетка одна стоимостью 30 копеек, футляр зубной щетки стоимостью 40 копеек, зубная паста семейная стоимостью 50 копеек, бритвенный прибор безопасный стоимостью 2 рубля, металлический стакан одна штука стоимостью 50 копеек, помазок один стоимостью 4 рубля, лезвие Восток 10 штук стоимостью рубль 50, очки без футляра стоимостью 3 рубля, трусы мужские одна пара 2,50, майка стоимостью 2 рубля 50 копеек, сандалеты мужские одна пара стоимостью 8 рублей, принадлежащие гражданину Подурец Тимофею Дмитриевичу, а всего похищено
Stardew Valley, the greatest fantasy game ever, where you can imagine the impossible, like owning a large property and having a family. That one got dark. Probably that. I probably could have gotten away with that joke 5 years ago. The older I get, the darker that joke becomes. Oh. Oh yeah, they just do mushrooms. Big breakfast and espresso. All right.
Полы номер 1, номер 2 и номер 4, там у нас находится только дежурный слесарь. Больше у нас время почти нет, может быть ломать. Необходимо снизу пробить.
Ooh. I just finished The Outsider on HBO. That's a good, like, sort of, it's a good, like, detective show. The Outsider's really good. So that's my suggestion. I still need to finish watching, what's it called? What do I say? Shogun. That's what I still need to finish watching. Shogun's really good.
Jestem menadżerem zespołu obecnie. Tak, menadżerem. No i mam drugi wokal, ale jeszcze mnie
I feel this might not be the Adam Curtis documentary.
Tak. Coś gramy między Rush, Police a King Crimson.
Just getting that overwhelming sensation.
A chciałaby pani tam pojechać?
No, oczywiście.
I co pani tam chciałaby zobaczyć?
Sklep.
Kobieta.
Does Adam Curtis not talk at all in this? Or am I just watching the wrong thing?
Tak, tak. Można dostać jeszcze stypendium do Kabulu.
Aha. Jest specjalny język irański.
So that's the same thing I'm watching already.
Adam Curtis, hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks for inviting me.
No problem. Glad to have you on.
So this is an interview. Or maybe it is just like this. I don't know. I haven't finished Fallout either, but it's been good so far. I liked Fallout. It's not bad.
Что я чувствовала, что я ощущала, лишь бы было спокойно в мире, чистое небо, это главное. Чтобы отслужил 2 года не такой уж большой срок, лишь бы все было спокойно в мире.
Fish ponds, you full? God damn, that's a lot of crabs.
Uciekaj, idź, jedź, a u ciebie Daniesia, oni po polsku, idź ją. A ja nie chcę ją, uciekaj, jedź, a ja nie chcę ją, uciekaj. Odpierdalaj tu, zabieraj do kapoty i odpierdalaj.
Sardines are full.
No to jedź.
Eels are full.
Przyjadę,
Hell yeah.
Spokojnie, pani, nie denerwować się proszę. Tak. Jedź.
There should be a password to do this. That's not cool. We'll leave that.
То, что произошло с вами 7 февраля 1985 года.
Выпила я и сделала это преступление.
Скажите, а вы не брали этих вещей, потому что вы опомнились, что вы совершили преступление, или потому что это вещи вам не подходили?
Нет, когда я опомнилась, если бы они мне не подходили, я бы их выбросила, но не понесла. А я уже опомнилась, думаю, ему уже нужно, и я понесла в вокзал опять их назад.
Вот мы здесь находимся на трассе Москва-Пекин, где находится столица наших странствий, город Петушки. Кроме питья здесь, пожалуй, делать нечего совершенно. Ходили, утром вставали. В одной деревне, если не было водки, шли в другую деревню. Если в этой нет, так шли в третью.
There we go. Do we still have room for another one down there? Night market is open. He's done now. Look at all those preserves. So age it a bit.
Таком интимном спрошу. Ты вступала в половые связи? Да. С какого возраста?
С 15 лет.
С 15 лет. Болела венерическим заболеванием? Ну, я тебя вижу не первый раз. Ты лицо для меня знакомое.
Right, to the night market.
Каким образом ты теперь в Москве очутилась?
Приехала, познакомилась в прошлый раз с парнем, приехала его увидеть.
Значит, у тебя приятель в Москве?
Да.
А в тот раз я знаю, что у тебя приятель был в Ленинграде.
Oh, it has to be repaired. That's why. Some bitch.
Рука прямая, строго назад, голова повернута назад.
It's a deep sea fishing tour. Ooh. Oh, spookfish. God damn it, just seaweed? Midnight squid.
Подурец Тимофей Дмитриевич. Подойдите к секретарю. Что вам известно? Что случилось тогда? Объясните, пожалуйста, суду.
Ну вот, значит, меня вечеру дали меня путевку. Я даже не знал, когда, значит, что я иду в санаторий. Ну, вызывали меня, местный комитет. Он мне сказал, значит, за то, что, значит, вы участвуете в Великой Отечественной войны, значит, вам предложит путевка.
Łagodniutki uśmiech taki, wiesz, bardzo urodzicielski. Jest odkurzacz, to zaraz pojedziemy.
Wonder if you can put those things in the... I mean, these are deep sea fish, so you probably can't, like, put them in like a bullhead frenzy has begun. What is the bullhead frenzy?
Dawaj tutaj, no nie przejmuj się tym, no. Poczekaj, ale spłaszczyłeś mnie.
Oh no. Arseholes? She's an arsehole? What was that thing that it said? Bullhead in the mountains?
Вы пойдете не вшестером, а вчетвером. Вот вам отводится 1 минута для того, чтобы решить следующую задачу. Вот посмотрите за своими товарищами, как они ускоренно передвигаются из этой амбразуры, поворачивают направо за вот это сооружение.
Maybe they're just talking about the... What else can I buy? have all of these already. No, I don't want that painting. The painting looks like shit. Cone hat, parsnip, stone frog. Anything good? I think I probably have all these seats already. Might as well stock up. I mean, if you are, you should definitely keep it a secret. Why is my baby still up? It's 12 a.m. Go to bed, Beth. See, your brother's good. He's in bed. Introvert, extrovert, pervert.
А если у вас было желание, какое вы смотрели, вы выразить сейчас?
Чего?
Желание, если у вас есть, например, какое у вас было бы сейчас?
Чего?
Желание, мечта.
Мечта?
Да.
Ну, как вам сказать? Не знаю дальше, что вам сказать. Мечта. Раньше не желая, не гадая, ничего не выйдет все равно.
Нет, ну только...
Я мечтала и гадала, а у меня все наоборот идет. И теперь не верю и никогда не буду думать и мечтать.
А какая мечта сейчас? Никакой?
Нет.
А вы верите?
Кому?
Что?
Кому верить?
Ну, не знаю, Богу.
Богу? Никому не верю, ничего не верю. И вам тоже не верю.
All the cool fish in there. Spirits are happy today. All right, we're going to the mines. It is decided.
За год машину уже около окна имеют. Кооператив. Что у нас фабрик нету, что у нас ничего нету. Нашили. А? Только дармоедов сидят. Вы посмотрите, какие рлы. Картошку им копать в колхозе. Чего здесь шитье-то? Какой здесь шитье? Здесь же материал по рублю, по рубль 50. А она продается за 80, за 100 рублей. Брюки какие-то, несчастные. Что-то для молодежи, а возраст 40, 45, 50, почему не купить? Ну, куртка или плащ. 200 рублей, 180, это ну с ума сойти. 17-16 лет. Товарищ одет, а она у станка стоит. 180, 160, 170 рублей зарабатывает. А купи ему, да и все, или ей. А? Ну почему раньше до этого жили-то? Все было. И трикотаж был, и все было. 50-х, 60-х, 70-х. Все же было.
Помните, эта демократия кончится. Да вы что? Об этом даже говорить смешно. Сколько НЭП продержался?
To the beach.
Уроки НЭПа есть, безусловно. Но неужели вы сами искренне верите, что это может продолжаться какое-то долгое время? Поэтому, как говорится, жгуй железо, пока
Oh
горячо.
shit! I have to wait for what's the face shot. Shouldn't show up till 9.
Диспетчеру.
Alright, now to the beach. And then into the Skull Cave. Wait, when does Pam not show up on a Tuesday?
Comrade General, what is the military situation?
Why is it operating? Oh, she arrives at 10:10 a.m. I see. There she is. Taking her sweet ass time.
Посмотри, Вадим.
Связаны с международными делами. Итак, первый вопрос из числа тех, что стали поступать к нам еще со вчерашнего дня. Вот Владимир Кучеренко, инженер из города Москвы, прислал нам целое письмо.
А.
Он процитировал заявление группы сотрудников коммунистов пакистанской ЧК ЦК РКПБ. Письмо датировано...
Только легкую книжечку. Так, вилка. Повернись боком ко мне. Боком. Нет.
Это нож, сделанный из нержавеющей стали.
Так, хорошо. Теперь возьми другой предмет.
These are cool. Now, why did I buy all this?
Еще раз, ЧК 42. 10, 25, 42.
дороге, на автомобиле или на поезде. А пока мы с вами гуляем по Москве вместе с московской командой «Альфа» и ее композицией на стихи Сергея Есенина «Я московский озорной гуляка».
Я ношу цилиндр и для женщин. С глупой страсти в сердце жить не в силе. В нем удобнее грусть свою уменьшить. Собрано обсадовать ковыли. Жить людей я дружбы не имею.
Я тебе уже сделал сегодня утром подарок. А это колечко. И я хочу оставить себе. Ну как же так, миленький? Да почему? Да разве ж так можно, миленький дядя?
You come, I'm waiting for you in my room, okay?
Huh?
I'm waiting for you in my room.
I?
Yeah?
You go your room? Now you speak for my friend.
No, I spoke for you. I spoke
For me?
In Volga, yes. Volga is your name.
What number?
1914. I pay $100. Administration is your problem.
Okay. You go in your
Hell
room
yeah.
after 5 minutes. 19-14.
8 levels. Oh, that's a big jump.
Вот если бы ты не пошла сейчас одна без меня, я бы тоже не пошла. А теперь я пойду.
А что тут такого-то? Извини меня, пожалуйста, ты что, охуела, что совсем?
А у вас есть колодец презерватив? У меня нету.
У меня только один.
Да, Свет, у меня один остался. Я тебе сегодня уже дала.
А я что именно с чем пойду? То есть спит мою? У него должен быть.
А если нету?
Чё?
Так, вперед!
I guess this is all
Вправо!
the whole documentary. It's just
Стоп!
clips from the fall of the Soviet Union
Stop!
and afterwards. Which is interesting. Six levels. Holy crap, we're making good time.
Ну, у тебя очень странная прическа. Где тебя так красиво подстригли?
Знакомилась с панками московскими, они подстригли.
А что это за течение, это панки?
Ну, это люди, которые любят свободу, там не терпят насилие, там.
А ты не свободна, да?
Свобода.
Последний раз когда в школе ты была?
Год назад.
Год назад. А родители когда последний раз видела?
В мае.
В мае месяце. Значит, полгода не была дома, полгода не видела родителей. Лен, плохо. Но мне кажется, у тебя что-то случилось.
Да, у меня ничего не происходит. У меня ничего не происходит.
Ну, ясно. Потом
There
тогда
you go.
расскажешь. Потом, я понимаю, что тебе сейчас трудно говорить. В следующий раз расскажешь.
Way down. Jesus Christ. speed mining. Ooh, what is that? This work better on slimes? Where's the friggin' stair? Oh, there it is. Not gonna lie, been a little bit disappointed in this documentary. I was hoping for some Adam Curtis. This is just sort of like a clip show.
Суд приговорил Русу Тамару Александровну признать виновной по статье 145 части 1 Уголовного кодекса Молдавской ССР и подвергнуть ее исправительным работам по месту работы сроком на 1 год с удержанием с ее заработка в доход государства 20%.
Будут 20% высчитывать и все. Сделала по глупости. Работаю вот сейчас сестрой хозяйкой. Все у меня вещи в руках, все у меня материальная ответственность на 30 тысяч на моей голове. А вот видите, по глупости, что делалось. Что это стакан вина, что это делает.
Anything I can get rid of. If you ever need vids, hit me up. Oh, hell yeah. I think I'm probably gonna call it an early one tonight, but yeah, for sure. There's a, like, if you want to link it in the, like, in, like, one of the, Discord chats, or the Discord channels, when I have it handy, that'd be sick. What is this? Ice rod.
Pizza! Pizza!
Oh, it's a trinket. That's cool.
Добрый вечер.
Добрый вечер. Ждет человек?
Нет, нет, нет. А что
Oh, it's fucking gold.
Да нет, там за мной никто не смотрит. Не бойтесь.
Я и говорю, что дойдет, если что, по закону вы можете выходить в комнату.
Ну и что? А я вас хочу благодарить.
Нет, вы меня лучше благодарить.
Спасибо большое.
Что, наверное, он вас добрый.
Cold? Bye, smile, my darling.
This is pacemaker.
Operation.
There we go. Ooh. Get to level 25. Let me just do it. Just let me get there.
А это и футбольное поле. Здесь очки не считают, кто выиграет, кто проигрывает.
God damn it. Let me get to floor 25.
Обратиться здесь и начальники, и все работающие. Как я, например, могу жить? Вот это вот забастовка. До чего она довела? Я согласна, ребята. Согласна с вашей работой. Согласна, какой у вас... Можно мне сказать?
There it is.
Мерседес, как это называется?
Getting every little bit of ore. I don't care. I did it. I'm the best. What can I get rid of? All right. Do one more day and call it quits. What do you mean you don't like the... Oh, hell yeah. Where'd I get the classic lacrosse from?
Огонь! Да стреляйте же, мать вашу! Руки слева! Нет, рассыпаться! Надерем им задницу! Зажарим людей вместе с потрохами! Огонь! Огонь!
Да заткнись же! Надоело все это слышать!
Пойдите, глупая ты сучка! Мы столько от тебя вернулись, чтобы тебе покоя не было! А вместе с нами еще дуги подстреленных душманов!
И у нас здесь все недорого. В оптом и в розницу продаются сам. Ты в столе японский, дранский. Потому что-нибудь, что вам нравится. Покупайте что-нибудь и goodbye, say white.
Oh, so I guess that was just BBC found footage. make another team tonight.
Сюда, в Госплан, стекается информация со всей страны, и не только хозяйственная или техническая информация. Это информация о состоянии общества, социальная информация. И вот со всей нашей огромной страны эта информация стекается сюда. Вот комнаты, где работает наш отдел. Я открою одну комнату, посмотрим. Вот товарищи сидят, работают. Они на нас не очень обращают внимания.
Мы говорим только с
Yo, when I sell all that at the end of this season, I'm gonna make so much money.
Я должен сказать, что вот по тому пути информации, которая у нас в Госплане имеется, в конечном счете самые агрегированные, самые конечные цифры информации поступает в этот подотдел. Когда сформировался план, оно потом превращается в целый поток, в дождь информации, доходящей до каждого работника, и который определяет работу всех отраслей.
Я приеду на неделю, я там с ума сойду. Как тебе, как умные. У меня хозяин умер. Я он без ноги был. 12 годов пришел. Войну тут. 41 годом пришел. Оторвал ему ногу. Ту ему 3 раза ее резали. 20 поступления оторванная. За это тело. Ключ.
Нигде свет включать. Я люблю спать на печи. Хочу хотя бы один раз.
Дочка, вставай, матушка, платья. Она работает. Корова. Корову никто не может от нее отдавить.
I make more preserve jars?
Она никого не подпускает.
I can.
Давай, Кей. Я туда и так вот, то колбаски отвезу, то из масла, то конфеты, что-то. От нее везу вот картошку. Дорога очень дорогая, и добираться очень трудно. Потому что в автобусы это убийство, не сядешь. Тем более вся молодежь старается первые влезть.
Садимся на попутные машины.
Yep. Trotsky, the mad scientist. I need wood.
Фабрика прачечная имеет план по сдаче металлолома. Это максимальное количество металлолома ей удалось сдать во время реконструкции всего производства, то есть когда заменялось оборудование, трубы, машины. И тем не менее, из года в год этот план, повторяясь, спускается этой фабрике прачечной, и она из года в год ищет любые возможности только для того, чтобы этот металлолом сдать, либо найти его на улице, либо купить его у тех, кто имеет этот металлолом, либо заплатить штраф за нарушение невыполнения плана сдачи металлолома. И это повторяется из года в год.
События в Литве! На чьей это совести? Это все на совести одной и той же партии. КПСС!
Group storage.
Угол места полста.
Do I not have my so. Oh yeah, because I put it in a different bag.
Those books in previous years were sent to some persons in the country, and they were looked through and decided that they should be kept in that department, and they were taken and sent to us.
Night market opens.
This is the mark of the sensor, and this is the call number of the book, which is the place of the book in the shelf.
God damn it. Motherfucker, I will run you over with my horse. more stuff down here? No.
Good morning. Have you had a rest?
Yes, I'm very well. And you? Have you?
Nada.
А я никак не пойму, что мне делать.
That's nice.
Well, I don't understand what I have to do. Ночью не сплю, а днем меня тянет. I don't sleep at night, and I have to sleep in the afternoon. I have an inkling to sleep in the afternoon.
Вчера я чуть на Варшавском договоре не заснул 4 дня.
Yesterday, I almost fell asleep at the Warsaw Treaty Organization meeting.
Сан-Франциско 11 часов разница.
Because it's 11 hours difference between Moscow and San Francisco.
Annie.
Ну, это джетлаг, так называемый.
Very successful.
Туда ничего, туда ничего.
Мы
It's all right to go west, but it's very difficult to go back east.
вас с успешной встречи там.
Вот шапочка-то. Вот бабушка.
Single
Беленькая
coffee bean.
дощечка. А вот тогда прямо здесь вот рядом вот и оградки пристроить. Старая бабушка. Значит, тебе лучше жить. О, здравствуй, моя милая. Ладно, здравствуйте. Здравствуйте, здравствуйте, здравствуйте. Ничего, ничего. Ой, родимы. А мне Наташа приехала. Наташа Дурбай. Ой, пошли. Куда? Ты куда? Я без головы. Наташа. Она всем по ложке.
Ectoplasm
А
to
я
the
сейчас
lizard.
сама.
Дайте пол.
Ну тут у всех, у каждого ложка-то есть. Вот.
Руки под цветку.
Ой.
Это мне на Новый год подарили, ребятишки.
Что?
Салфетку ту. А вот вчера я тебе
На блюдечке
ее
ставили, не на
затырила.
Ooh.
Спасибо большое.
Борис Николаевич, вы встречались с этим и какой выход вы видите? Что я сделал? Борис Николаевич, будьте добры, скажите, пожалуйста, ваша встреча, увидим.
Как отношения развиваются между Россией и Кувейтом? Скажите просто два слова.
I gotta figure out where this piano is gonna go.
Как развиваются отношения Кувейта с Россией?
Поэтому я в соответствии со своими обязательствами, данными в предвыборный период, заявляю о своем выходе из КПСС, чтобы иметь большую возможность эффективно влиять на деятельность Советов, готов сотрудничать со всеми партиями,
Hey, Riendes.
организациями.
How are you?
Good, good. I had a nice little interview with Luca Brunigan. And then played some Stardew.
I'm just about to finish off. It's about 10:15 because I gotta work in the morning. But thanks for stopping by. Good to see you again. I know I haven't been streaming a lot, but I think I'll be trying to get back into it now that things have quieted down a little bit on the hill. Now that the budget's out.
Вечно ходишь не выспатая, ходишь там спишь, как эта муха вареная. А так вот вечер работаешь, ну, в час ляжешь, так хоть поспишь до 10, до 11, выспишься и все. Ну, когда утро, я вообще ничего не успеваю.
I did. We did watch that. That was, it was an absolute train wreck. Whoever that crackhead Barbie is. Alrighty. I think that's going to be it for tonight. It's absolutely a shit show, but it's entertaining, at least. Alright. Thanks for stopping by, Randy's. And everybody else, thanks for hanging out till the very end. Show me the money! Woo! With 100 biddies, Randy's. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This has been a good stream. We got like, I think we got like 4 or 5 subs and 100 bits. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. All right. See you guys on Saturday, I think. I'll be back on Saturday. I don't know what we're doing yet, but we'll figure it out. Bye-bye.